Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Raw Law Unfiltered with your host, me, the DUI guy. Today, we are going to be covering something that is very close to my heart. This is following for quite some time, and not because of particular interest in what has been going on, but my own personal love of chess. I follow several chess channels over the years, but it has been kind of narrowed down to pretty much just one. And he doesn't even know I exist. His name is Levi Rosman. He runs a channel called GothamChess.com or Gotham Chess, excuse me, on YouTube. He also has courses that he offers, which he now recently merged into Chessly.com. And he's a huge follower of games, chess games all over the world. Right now, he is covering, as we speak, the U.S. Chess Championship, the World Championship, and the follow-up championship that is going to. I think it's narrowed down to the final eight, if I'm not mistaken. Last I saw, I'm trying to catch up on his videos. I watch him kind of religiously. So again, shout out to you, Gotham. If you ever see this, fantastic. I'll be happy. Um, I know that he covered one lawsuit previously, very briefly, kind of went over very vaguely. It was a name I'm not even going to be able to pronounce, but a Russian female grandmaster, which was named in a Netflix documentary, and she was the only name of an actual living grand chess grandmaster that was named, and she filed lawsuit for the fact that you have slandered me or something of that nature. And he made a video about that a few months ago, and I reached out and I never heard from him. I wanted to give him my commentary, my 2 cents, but it probably went unnoticed because he was inundated with emails and whatnot. I understand. It is what it is. However, with this one, I'm going to make a video of my own because obviously I'm an attorney and we are now at a stage as of yesterday. Okay. This is the Hans Niemann versus Magnus Carlsen saga. Now, because I've been following this so closely, and this is so near and dear to my heart because of my love of chess, I play chess, I watch chess. It's my passion, it's my love, it's what I enjoy to do in my free time. Some people like to watch cat videos, other people like to watch Netflix documentaries. I like to watch chess games, and Gotham Chess breaks it down like no other, and he makes it fun, exciting, entertaining. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, here's a free shout out to you. Go subscribe to Gotham Chess. He is phenomenal. He is entertaining. He's funny. He's goofy. He's real, and he lives in New York. So um, this is this is unprecedented. I mean, we have had chess drama in the past, okay? There was the Kasparov versus Karpov drama. There was, I forget, I think it was also involving Karpov and another chess grandmaster that escapes me right now. There was a lot of, periodic chess drama in the past, especially during the Cold War. The United States versus Russia was really big, but we never, ever got anything as big as this. Okay. Especially with two people who you would never anticipate would ever really be ever mentioned in the same, not only the same document, but the same saga, because they are on two completely different levels. Okay. And let me explain what I mean. Like I said, this is, you're going to get a really deep inside scoop because I've been following this unintentionally just because this is my passion and it's been woven in, right? So here is the down and dirty. Magnus Carlsen has been reigning world chess champion for the last, I don't know, 12 years, I think. He won every single chess championship. He won against Fabiano Caruana. He won against Jan Nepomniachtchi. He won against Vishy Anand, who he revoked the title from. all those years ago. He's a chess prodigy. He became a 2,700, I believe, at the ripe age of 17 years and like 4 months. So Magnus Carlsen has been around. Okay, he's been around. Now, he was really hoping to play a chess prodigy, which unfortunately did not win the candidates. Jan Nepomniachtchi was the one who won the candidates, and I guess Magnus did not want to play in the candidates one. Magnus Carlsen actually renounced his title. So believe it or not, a world champion can do that. He does not have to defend it. So the winner, I don't remember exactly how the rules are aligned, but essentially, I think Jan Nepomniachtchi is going to be playing another individual, and there, whoever the winner of that game is going to be the world chess champion, right? But as we sit here today, right, October 21st of 2022, Magnus Carlsen still holds the title because no one has taken it from him, and no one has, even though he renounced it, right? No one has replaced him just yet. So, what is going on? What is going on with this lawsuit? How did we get from a chess game on the one hand to a lawsuit for $100 million on the other? Here's where it started. It all started in St. Louis, Missouri, which is, by the way, you'll see the lawsuit. They have a lawyer, a law firm from Missouri, and a law firm from New York are both running this case tandem, and you'll see why as we go forward. On September 4th at the St. Louis Sinquefield Cup, okay, Magnus Carlsen played Hans Niemann in the third round of the Sinquefield Cup on September 4th, of 2022. And he accused Neiman of cheating over the board. Now, that's unprecedented. What really happened, and Magnus later goes on to say this, he said that Hans played with such basically panache and lackluster that he has never seen before. Normally, when he plays individuals, they get nervous, they get edgy. I guess he sees a noticeable change in behavior when he plays them. However, he did not see the same with Hans. Instead, he saw a very relaxed, like I said, lackluster individual sitting across from him across the board. And so Magnus Carlsen, as soon as the game was over, and Magnus lost that game. Now, he was on like a 50 or 60 game winning streak or something up until that point, which, as I understand, his highest was like 120 in his career. So it wasn't like this was the biggest streak broken for him, but he does definitely win way, way, way more than he loses. He plays like a computer. But to be beat by an outsider, for whatever reason, has sparked a allegation. And at first, nobody knew what was going on because Magnus simply resigned. Resigned from the tournament. He didn't resign from the game. He lost the game. So Hans Niemann beat Magnus Carlsen on September 4th of this year. After which, Magnus Carlsen resigns from the tournament. He says, I'm no longer playing in this tournament, doesn't say another word, and basically the chess world explodes. What is going on? Like, what is he saying? What is he alleging? What exactly is happening here? Did he cheat? Is the allegation that it's cheating? Is the allegation that he did something? Was he not feeling well? Nobody knew what on earth was happening for about 2 or 3 weeks, right? There was a very, very, very wild, very, very wild theory that came out literally a few days later. I believe it was the Chess Bras that kind of floated the idea jokingly, and this joke gained life because there was no other explanation. You know, when you're playing on a computer, when you're playing chess on a computer, it's very easy to cheat. All you have to do is turn on the engine, put it on another screen, and voila, there you go. Now you have a cheating mechanism. But how do you cheat over the board? Where you're seated across from an individual who's looking directly into your eyes and you're moving wooden pieces around, right? Now, there have been some historical ways that people have cheated in the past, such as using seats in the room as coordinates as to which piece to move to which square, which is, by the way, one of the most phenomenal, I think, genius ways of coming up of how to cheat in a chess game. That was, I believe, by some French players in France. But even Elon Musk has jumped on this theory. And on September 14th, I believe he tweeted or retweeted a video of a content producer, and I believe this was the Chess Bra video, suggesting that Neiman might be using anal beads to game the system and avoid being caught in cheating in over the board chess. Because where else do you put them? Like, where else would you? I remember it was a female grandmaster, a woman grandmaster. Oh my goodness, it's on the tip of my tongue again. I'm not very good with names today for some reason, but I remember at one point was beat a grandmaster, a male grandmaster, and it was alleged that she had because she had chapstick that she was using, I guess, during the game. And the grandmaster accused her of having a computer in the chapstick and used that for cheating because I guess he was so upset that he lost. This goes above and beyond the chapstick. To have something up your bum in order to, I don't know, and this is the other thing. I mean, how would it send a signal to the individual who has the alleged beads up their ass? I mean, if they vibrate, wouldn't the other person, I think Magnus Carlsen would be like, hey man, your phone's ringing. I don't have a phone. Oh, well, that's suspicious. Your body's vibrating. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea how that would be done. Like, the whole world literally was just because we didn't have an answer on September 14th. This was like 9 days after or 10 days after the chess cheating allegation. Nobody had any answers. Magnus Carlsen has not made a statement. The only statement he has made up until that point was, hey, I have something I can't share with you yet. I have to check with my legal team. I will get back to you, basically. Now, in the meantime, while all of this is happening, and this is the third article I want to share with you, chess star Hans Niemann admits on September 7th, so we're going back in time just a little bit. We're going a little bit out of order here, but we're going to get back to order in a moment. Hans Niemann admits, you know what? I did cheat. Once when I was 12 and once when I was 16 in online games on the internet. Not over the board. Once again, the whole fucking chess community goes berserk. So Hans did cheat, but not at this time. We're still waiting on Magnus. Nothing, right? But now Hans himself steps forward and says, you know what? I want to get in front of this. Obviously, this is looming. I did this. I cheated. At this point, he is, I think, 19, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember his exact age. He's still very young. But he was under the age of 18. And then the question is, like, do you forgive him? Do you not forgive him? Is he going to be invited? Is he not going to be invited? Like, what's to these tournaments? Like, what's the protocol? Like, what do you do? What is going on? Right? Well, finally, on September, I'm sorry, I don't know what this is probably just videos playing on the, on September 26th, okay? This is 3 weeks and a day after the scandal in Missouri at the Sinquefield Cup in St. Louis. Magnus Carlsen finally breaks the silence. He says, quote, I believe that Neiman has cheated more and more recently than he has publicly admitted, says Carlsen in a statement. The world's top chess champion broke his silence Monday after cheating allegations against one of his opponents during the Sinquefield Cup in St. Louis shook the chess world for weeks. As I said, he withdrew. 19-year-old up-and-comer Hans Niemann beat him. Stunning loss, right? I believe that I just read that. I have never cheated in an over-the-board game, Hans Niemann alleged. That is the worst thing I could do, cheat in a tournament with prize money. However, Carlsen did not quickly forgive or excuse Neiman. He said his over the board progress has been unusual. And throughout our game in the Sinquefield Cup, there it is, I had the impression that he wasn't tense or even fully concentrating on the game in critical positions while outplaying me as black. By the way, don't know and you don't play chess, when you start as white, you automatically have an advantage, right? Because you have the first move. And if in theory, you both as white and black play the perfect game, it's very possible that white will win because it starts out with like a 0.02 advantage or 0.2 advantage. And that can spiral and escalate if, especially, even if black plays a perfect game, it will either end in a draw or white will win. But we're not computers, and people are fallible. We make mistakes. So not only did Hans beat me, Carlsen says, he outplayed me as black in a way that I think only a handful of players can do. Conceded much, man? I mean, when I read that initially, I was a little taken aback because it seemed like, I mean, Magnus was simply butthurt that an outsider beat him. It's like in the Derby when you have a horse, like in the last Derby, an outsider, a one, was it a 40-1, a 30-1 horse? Nobody expected this horse to win, and it won. People who bet like $3 would win like a few hundred. Why? Because nobody expected that horse to win. So Magnus playing Hans in this whole scenario is kind of like, dude, you beat me and you were like so nonchalant about it. This is, I don't know how to take this. And rather than kind of being cool about it or whatever, he goes and says, you know what? I think you cheated. I think you cheated, Hans, and I'm going to go public with this. And he did on September 26th. Now that sparked, again, each of these has literally blown up the chess community. Every time one of these things would go down, nobody could barely focus on games anymore. Everybody was talking about this, okay? So finally, we come to the report that was made by chess.com on October, I believe it was October 4th or 5th of 2022, this month, just 2.5 weeks ago. Chess.com released a 72-page report about Hans Niemann, trying to analyze, because you have to understand, chess.com has its own little internal algorithms, and they detect when cheaters are using computer engines. And it's very, very easy to detect when newbies or beginners, intermediates, amateurs, or even, intermediate, advanced, and even masters are using engines. Why? Because there are certain patterns that they see. They go to their previous games, they look at how they're playing, and then they can determine, well, when they go from like an accuracy of about 40 or 50 or 60%, suddenly they're playing at 98, 99, 97, 98% accuracy. That would be a dead giveaway. But the problem with chess grandmasters, 26, 27, 2,800 players, top 50, top 100 in the world, is they don't need a chess engine for the entire game. Their chess engine is their own brain. All they need is a chess engine maybe one time. Even experts agree on this, chess experts. One time in a critical position on like move 20 or move 27 or move 32, when there is a critical moment, all they need, and they can't figure out, let's say, what the right move is, and they use an engine for just that one move, they can pick it up from there. So they got the first 32 moves, move 33 by chess engine, and then the rest of the game, and then they win, let's say, right? And this is what this report tried to do. And this is the most difficult part of this report. And this is why not only Magnus, but chess.com are also both named in this lawsuit, is because the ability to calculate whether or not someone has used a chess engine in an online game is nothing but probability and statistics and percentages and likelihood. There have been countless videos on the internet that try to pinpoint, like, yes, there's cheating here and here and here's why, but it's all correlation, it's all statistics. There is no certainty, and that's the problem. And this is where this report goes into, and we're not going to go through this one, by the way. It's a 72 pager. The chess.com talks about their mission, the timeline of what happened, how Magnus got beat by Hans, how Magnus came to said the statement that he believes that Hans cheated, and especially did on a limited basis, of course. And then it goes on to literally analyze, did he, how did he, where did he? They have an entire table of where they're going back to his games to 2015 when Hans was, I think, 12, going back to all these games and saying, what is the strength, score of how likely it was that he cheated? Hans Niemann. They literally completely brutalized. They gutted this man from like a fish, from top to bottom, went into every single, they even had some anonymous confessed grandmasters with a strength score, their FIDE ELO. And first of all, it's terrifying how many anonymous confessed grandmasters have confessed to cheating, and Hans Niemann is the only one singled out. I mean, that is crazy. That is absolutely nuts. Why? Because to me, he plays like Mikhail Tal. If y'all are not familiar with Tal's games, he never played chess. He played the player sitting across from him. And I think that's how Hans has risen to glory. He is, the ugly duckling. He is the black swan of chess community. He is the anti-hero. He is what we all want to be one day. We want, like Alireza Firouzja, by the way, who was the contender that Magnus Carlsen wanted to play in the World Chess Championship, which he never got a chance to do because Alireza Firouzja unfortunately lost the candidates, and he was beaten by not Jan Nepomniachtchi. Jan Nepomniachtchi is the one who won, but I believe somebody else took him out from the candidates. Although he may have played Jan as well, I just don't remember. Even his graph of ELO change over time, which is extremely stark. I mean, unbelievably stark. Hans's is even starker. And there's like one little collapse, and I say little, it's a huge one. And then he bounces back. And these are all members of the 2700 club or close to it. These are the top like 20 to 50 players in the world named here. And here's the problem. Still, there is no proof that Hans Niemann cheated over the board as of October 21st, 2022. These are some of the areas where Hans Niemann plateaued. And this report goes on and on and on. And like I said, it's 72 pages. We are not going to be going through it. It even goes through some exhibits showing strength by age of some top elite players. Let's turn our attention to the complaint, okay? Because this is it. This is the meat of our conversation today. If up until now, for the last 24 minutes, it's been the potatoes. This has been the introduction, right? What has happened since September 4th at the Sinquefield Cup in Missouri? Now we know Magnus Carlsen accuses Hans Niemann of cheating over the board. And not only that, he also accuses him of cheating, and cheating more recently than Hans has admitted to. And that puts a dent in Hans Niemann's career, his reputation, his future, his livelihood, his ability to make money, his ability to compete in tournaments. There was an allegation recently that I think it was Sarin, if I'm not mistaken, Samil Sarin, am I saying his name correctly? I don't remember. I might be wrong on that. where he actually, in the middle of a game, took um, Hans's king, and apparently the top piece was kind of wobbling, and Hans was like, "What are you doing?" And Sauron just broke the top of his king off and threw it back at him. I mean, everybody wants to be part of this spotlight now. Everyone is looking at Hans as like this villain, this villainous character who has cheated, allegedly, and admitted to cheating in the past. And now people don't want to play him. His reputation is tarnished. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So yesterday, on October 20th, 2022, Hans Niemann, the only plaintiff, filed a lawsuit in the Eastern District of Missouri, United States District Court. So two questions right away. Why United States and why Missouri? I mean, why United States District? Why didn't he file in state court? Well, the first one is easy. It's over 75,000. Asking for $100 million. That's why we're in federal court, not state court. That's the easy one. Now, why we're in Missouri? It's another easy one, because that's where the initial allegation of cheating happened. Okay. That's on September 4th, when Magnus Carlsen initially accused, although not publicly saying it at the time, later coming out on September 27th, 3+ weeks later, actually saying it. But initially, it happened at the Sinquefield Cup in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, who is he suing? Sven Magnus Owen Carlsen, aka Magnus Carlsen, the reigning world champion. Play Magnus, as doing business as Play Magnus Group. That's Magnus Carlsen's like parent company. Like he is sufficiently big to where he has his own app, which I believe chess.com just either recently purchased or merged with. I'm not exactly sure. Chess.com. So Magnus is probably named for his slanderous words at the very least, right? Chess.com and his app. Chess.com is being named for the report that they generated. Nobody asked them to do that, by the way. They did it out of their own volition. And now we have a couple of new players. Daniel Wrench, aka Danny Wrench. Who's he? He's a chess.com commentator. I'm guessing he said some things that Hans didn't like. And we also have Hikaru Nakamura, another top 10 player in the world, phenomenal chess player, has his own following on Twitch. I think he's no stranger to having like 25, 30,000 people watching him play. Did I say play? I meant crush. Did I say crush? I meant destroy. Did I say destroy? I meant completely fucking obliterate off the face of the earth. Contenders over the chessboard on the internet. So why is he named in this complaint? Well, apparently, Hikaru Nakamura has made some statements, and he had brought on, I believe at one point, he brought on an expert on his channel to kind of discuss the whole thing that chess.com was trying to do with playing the numbers and the statistics and the probabilities and the possibilities that did Hans Niemann cheat, the correlation, the possibility, blah, 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 blah. So he injected himself, being a streamer and having a wide following, he injected himself into this saga, the Neiman versus Magnus saga. So he's got two lawyers. When I say two lawyers, I mean two law firms. There are plenty of lawyers involved. Two law firms. Plaintiff Hans Niemann, by and through his attorneys Ovid and local Missouri counsel, the Gardner Law Firm, allege upon and belief as follows. And by the way, the ProHack application forthcoming, what they mean by that is you have two law firms. One is a local one, Missouri, licensed to practice law in Missouri. Ovid are in New York, and they have to file a ProHack Vici application, meaning please let us practice in this state, Missouri, because we're not licensed here. We don't have a license to practice law. So just for this one case, they pay a fee, and Missouri just goes, yeah, just make sure that a Missouri lawyer, these guys right here, are watching over whatever it is that you do, and now you can move forward, right? So that's what's happening. The nature of the action. Neiman is a 19-year-old self-taught chess prodigy. A hell of a way to start a complaint, by the way. He brings this action to recover from the devastating damages that defendants have inflicted upon his reputation, career, and life by egregiously defaming him and unlawfully colluding to blacklist him from the profession to which he has dedicated his life. Boom, we have a nuclear explosion in the first paragraph of the action. In 2014, Neiman became the youngest ever winner of the Tuesday night marathon at the Mechanics Institute Chess Club, the oldest chess club in the United States, earning him the title of U.S. Chess Federation Master. That's a FIDE Master. That is the lowest kind of title, if you will, in FM of Grandmasters, right? Or Masters. By December 2020, FIDE, the international governing body of professional chess, awarded Neiman its highest honor by naming him a chess Grandmaster. So that was 2 years ago. By October 2022, FIDE ranked Neiman as the 40th best chess player in the world. Okay, so tied for fourth youngest player in the top 50. So let's go back a second. From 2014, he was a FIDE master, and here we are 8 years later, and he is top 40 in the world. I mean, talk about a success story. It don't happen very often, and when they do, normally there is a pattern, right, of success. And I don't think Neiman has broken any of those patterns. Now, they're trying to make it look like he did, and this is the nature of the lawsuit. Chess is Neiman's life. His gift for playing chess earned him a scholarship to the prestigious Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School in New York City, a school he could only attend by simultaneously working full-time to support himself financially. Since the age of 16, Neiman's sole means of supporting himself has been from the money he makes teaching chess and participating in chess tournaments. So chess is literally everything for this kid. Prior to the events giving rise to this complaint, Neiman lived out of a suitcase, traveling the world to compete in chess tournaments. Defendant Sven Magnus Carlsen, hereforth known as Carlsen, is a 31-year-old chess player from Norway. I like how they kind of downplay him at the outset. He's more than just a player. He's number one in the world. He is presently the 5-time reigning world chess champion and the highest ranked chess player in history. All right, there you go. There's the kudos. Carlsen has exploited his notoriety and success in chess to create an incredibly lucrative global brand and online chess company, the Play Magnus Group, known as Play Magnus. Prior to the acts giving rise to the complaint, Play Magnus proudly touted Neiman as one of its brand ambassadors. So Neiman was an ambassador. So this might be going down the rabbit hole a lot deeper than we may have anticipated. This is not just a Neiman versus Magnus. This might be a Neiman, I used to work for you, Magnus, and I did something you didn't like. So now Magnus is all butthurt over me, and now I'm fired, and you're going to out to the world that I'm a cheater when I'm not? Over the board? Please. Over the years, anal beads notwithstanding. Over the years, Play Magnus has grown into one of the largest online chess companies in the world, second only to the multi-billion-dollar behemoth Chess.com, LLC, henceforth known as Chess.com. In August 2022, Chess.com agreed to acquire Play Magnus, so they bought them out just a couple months ago, for nearly $83 million and merged the two companies in order to monopolize the chess world, so they're becoming an even bigger behemoth. Carlsen, having solidified his position as the chess king, the king of chess, believes that when it comes to chess, he can do whatever he wants and get away with it. Okay, I think that statement is a little misplaced, but okay. Excuse me. On September 4th, here it is, 2022, Neiman soundly defeated Carlsen during an in-person game at the prestigious Sinquefield chess tournament in St. Louis, Missouri. Excuse me. Notably, this was not the first time that Neiman beat Carlsen at chess. Just the first time he did so at a FIDE sanctioned event, meaning rating points, FIDE rating points are involved. So not only is it going to be very popularized that Neiman just beat Magnus, but also Magnus lost rating points over this to Neiman. Neiman's upset victory effectively dashed Carlsen's two remaining statistical ambitions, namely achieving a 2,900 FIDE performance rating for the first time in history and breaking his own world record unbeaten streak in the FIDE sanctioned events. Now, I believe you can watch Gotham Chess's video. He kind of explains this in a little bit greater depth, but essentially, um, you know, what they're saying is his loss to Neiman really put him behind, and it shouldn't have happened. So because it shouldn't have happened, something must have been fishy about what had happened, because Magnus no lose like this. Magnus is very, very good chess player. Magnus no lose like this to someone like Hans Niemann, who doesn't even care about playing, paying attention to the moves that he is making, allegedly. And breaking the world record of an unbeaten streak, again, I think has been also debunked, because this was like game 50, I believe, of his latest streak. Now, these accomplishments, if achieved, would have solidified Carlsen as arguably the greatest chess player of all time, which he kind of already did, but okay, and made his bourgeoising chess empire even more valuable. Making matters worse for Carlsen, Neiman embarrassed Carlsen by playfully taunting him during his post-match interview. So in the post-match interview, if you all have seen, Neiman just kind of, he gets cocky. Listen, you just beat the number one player in the world. I would be fucking cocky too, especially playing as black. On. But okay, all right. Notorious for his inability to cope with defeat, Carlsen snapped. Enraged that the young Neiman, fully 12 years his junior, dared to disrespect this so-called king of chess, and fearful that the young prodigy would further blemish his multi-million-dollar brand by beating him again. Carlsen viciously and maliciously retaliated against Neiman by falsely accusing Neiman without any evidence whatsoever of somehow cheating during their in-person game, and demanding that the organizers of the Sinquefield Cup immediately disqualify Neiman from the tournament. It's like almost like they're trying to paint it as a baby throwing a tantrum. And I can see how that may be seen from the outside. I don't know. I wasn't there. When tournament officials refused to comply with Carlsen's corrupt and cowardly demand to baselessly eliminate Neiman from competition, Carlsen lashed out again, this time by boycotting the remainder of the Sinquefield Cup in protest, an unprecedented act for a top chess professional, let alone the reigning world champion. Remember, he still has that title as we sit here today. He is the chess champion of the world. Carlsen then confirmed his defamatory accusations against Neiman with a provocative post on Twitter, which had the intended effect of disseminating Carlsen's false accusations that Neiman had cheated against him across the globe. So that was the beginning. That was the beginning. Days later, Carlsen was scheduled to play Neiman again in the Julius Baer Generation Cup. Rather than seek to redeem himself from his unexpected loss, I almost forgot about this one. Right. This is a cool one. How to beat the world champion on move 2, right? I believe the game went e4, e4, d5, Magnus resigns or something like that. I can't remember. Rather than to seek to redeem himself from his no, it was e4, knight to c3, I think. Rather than to seek to redeem himself from his unexpected loss to Neiman, Carlsen, the king of chess, gutlessly forfeited the game after making one move. There it is. And then issued a press release repeating his false accusations that Neiman had cheated against him at the Sinquefield Cup. Carlsen's unprecedented actions, coupled with his unfounded accusations, sent shockwaves through the chess world and instantly thrust Neiman into the center of what is now widely reported as the single biggest chess scandal in history, which I agree with. Due to this, his unparalleled stature and influence in the chess community, Carlsen knew that, one, the public would believe his accusations of cheating against Neiman, even though Carlsen had no legitimate basis to believe Neiman actually cheated against him. 2, he could ensure that no reputable chess tournament would invite Neiman to compete in the future. And 3, his false accusations would cause other top chess players to boycott Neiman as well, all of which has already been happening. Following Carlsen's defamatory accusations, a flurry of independent, there it is, remember Danny Wrench, Hikaru Nakamura, chess.com, a flurry of independent and unbiased sources, including the tournament organizers and arbiters of the Sinquefield Cup, FIDE, and the world's foremost experts in cheat detection, have uniformly confirmed that there is no evidence that Neiman cheated in any of his games against Carlsen. Again, this is a loaded statement because chess.com did kind of have a, I don't know, we can't really say, we can't determine, we don't have enough because it's impossible kind of report, including at the Sinquefield Cup, particularly, but this is online. By the way, don't forget, this is all online. They've not shown a single instance where Hans Niemann has been proven, let alone even suspected, other than by Carlsen, that he cheated over the board, anal beads notwithstanding. Particularly given the more ample anti-cheating security measures used at the event. There was even one event, and you guys can Google this. This is real. This is real. There's a video floating around of an event, I think last week, where Hans Niemann, so there's a female in front of him. There's a female in front of him, and there's a man with a wand, and he kind of like scans her, and she goes forward, and then Neiman approaches, and he scans him, and then he tells him to turn around. He didn't tell the woman to turn around. He told Hans Niemann to turn around, and by God, you know where that wand went? Right over that tush, just to make sure. Did it ring? No. Did anybody else get their bottom scanned? No. Watch that video. It's crazy. Unbiased top chess analysts have dissected Neiman and Carlsen's Sinquefield game in excruciating detail and concluded that Neiman's victory resulted more from Carlsen's particularly poor play than Neiman's particularly exceptional play. So basically, they're saying Hans was just off that day. He had an off day. He had a bad day. Hans was having a good day, and Hans beat him. And now Carlsen is butthurt over it. Nonetheless, following Carlsen's baseless and retaliatory accusations, Carlsen unleashed his media empire to fan the flames of Carlsen's cheating accusations, drown out the legitimate evidence refuting them, blacklist Neiman from top-level chess tournaments, and protect at any cost his eponymous Play Magnus brand and status as king of chess. I love how they're trying to paint him as this, as like he's doing all of this to protect his brand, to protect himself. This one game could have just gone unnoticed. I lost. I fucked up. Whatever. Call it a day. But instead, he's like, no, you cheated, and because I can't be losing to someone like you. You are the Trojan horse, and you are the black swan. You are the ugly duckling. You have no right to beat me. Otherwise, my whole reputation is at stake, kind of thing. This has literally become a David versus Goliath. And you bet your ass, Magnus Carlsen is Goliath here. He is not David. That's unbelievable. Hans Niemann is the David here. Who would have thought? Almost immediately thereafter, chess.com, in collusion with Carlsen and Play Magnus, immediately banned Neiman from its website, which did happen, and all of its future events to lend credence to Carlsen's unsubstantiated and defamatory accusations of cheating. B, defendant Hikaru Nakamura, chess.com's most influential streaming partner, which is true, as I said, acting in collusion with Carlsen and chess.com, published hours of video content, amplifying and attempting to bolster Carlsen's false cheating allegations against Neiman with numerous additional defamatory statements. That's how Nakamura got involved. And C, chess.com executive Danny Wrench issued defamatory press releases and leaked defamatory reports. This is the one that I was telling you all about earlier, to prominent press outlets, falsely accusing Neiman of lying in his post-match Sinquefield Cup interview regarding the use of a chess engine in a handful of recreational online games when he was a child, to bolster Carlsen's unsubstantiated defamatory accusations that Neiman cheated against him at the Sinquefield Cup. Now, despite the falsity of defendants' accusations, defendants' malicious defamation And unlawful collusion has, by design, destroyed Neiman's remarkable career in its prime and ruined his life. As a result of Play Magnus and Chess.com's collusion to blacklist him from chess, Neiman could no longer compete in any online Chess.com or Play Magnus tournaments, which obvious, and will not receive invitations to in-person events sponsored by Chess.com or Play Magnus, which collectively comprise the majority of FIDE-sanctioned chess tournaments. So he's basically banned from pretty much everything. Already, based on defendants' defamatory accusations in Chess.com Global Championship, revoked Neiman's invitation to play in that tournament in October 2022, even though Neiman earned that invitation through his exceptional play. 2, teenage Grandmaster Vincent Keimer canceled his upcoming game with Neiman in Germany. 3, the Tata Steel Chess Tournament, one of chess's most prestigious tournaments, which is absolutely true. The Tata Steel is covered every year by many chess commentators, immediately ceased its ongoing arrangements for Neiman to play in its January 2023 tournament. And 4, Neiman cannot obtain employment as a chess teacher at a reputable school, which is how he said he was making his money while he's paying for his own schooling, right? Chess is literally his life, living out of a suitcase. This is exactly this is how we got here. Accordingly, Neiman asserts the following claims against defendants. Number 1, slander. Slander is spoken defamation. 2, libel. Libel is written defamation. 3, unlawful group boycott under the Sherman Act, 15 U.S.C. 1 et sequitur. And 4, tortious interference with contract and business expectancies. Oh, I'm sorry. And 5, civil conspiracy. Now, I think the fifth one is probably the loosest one. They probably were all doing it in parallel, in tandem. But look, I'm just one guy. I think they're throwing everything just to make sure they're covering all their grounds, because you never know. You never know. You never know what you might find during discovery. And if you miss the boat, well, then you don't get a chance to you get a chance to amend your complaint later, but adding a whole new cause of action is usually pretty tedious. And, of course, there's going to be an objection from the other party right out at the outset. Neiman seeks damages in an amount to be determined at trial, but no less than $100 million. What? Like, that number, I mean, I understand, but it blows my mind. It blows my mind. I think they obviously they made this number up when they filed the lawsuit. You literally get to make up what you could file a lawsuit for $100 trillion if you want. No one's going to look at you seriously when you do that, if you do that, but you can file a lawsuit for $1. They pay you the $1 and you just won the lawsuit. Congratulations. So the 100 mil, I think, here's how they're justifying it. This is how I think. First and foremost, you have Magnus, Chess.com, Denny Wrench, Hikaru Nakamura. Those 4 are the pillars, essentially, when you really look at it. Those are the 4 pillars of the lawsuit. And they're all very, very wealthy. They make a lot of money. So they have it, right? That's point number 1. Point number 2 is that Hans is not saying that he has been damaged for that amount as of today, because chess is Hans Niemann's career and future and livelihood and everything. Over the next 40 years, which he's not going to be able to play or teach at any reputable school or participate in tournaments or anything of that nature, he will not be able to make money in the one thing that he is able and loves to do because of these allegations of cheating against him. I mean, he will have made that amount of money in his lifetime, and he needs to be compensated for it. That's where I suspect this is going to go, because that number is literally completely unsubstantiated. It's kind of like, this is what Amber Heard countersued for. Johnny sued her for 50, she countered with 100. Like, it's pointless, it's empty, it's hollow. It doesn't mean anything. In her case, it meant even less because she had absolutely zero justifiable grounds to claim 100 million. Hans Niemann at least can, in theory, argue that over the next 50 years, right? How long is he going to be playing chess for? He's 19. He might be playing until well into his 70s. For the next 60 years, I could have made 100 million easily in my chess career as a young prodigy. And now you took that away from me, so pay up now. I want that money right now because I'm going to take that money and go do something else. Since now you've deprived me of the opportunity to be able to do what I want to do. That's what lawsuits are. You have ruined something wrongfully. I am now damaged because of it. Now it's your job to make me whole so I can go and do something else. In a nutshell. Now, here are the parties. Hans, of course, he's from Connecticut. Uh, Carlsen is in Norway. And that's the other thing, by the way. They filed the lawsuit in Missouri. I mean, there is a lot of argument to be made that Missouri is a very improper venue, is what it's called, when you pick the wrong place to file the suit. I mean, that's where the defamation essentially occurred. So it's a very reasonable venue. I mean, I, as an attorney, would probably have picked that venue as well. But now people like Carlsen, chess.com, who are in California, Denny, who's in Utah, Hikaru, who's in Florida, Carlsen is in Norway. They all have an argument that venue is improper in Missouri and you need to bring this suit to Norway. No, you need to bring this suit to California. No, you need to bring this suit to Florida. No, you need to bring this suit to Utah. You know, and a court is going to have to decide. The United States District Court in Missouri is going to have to start deciding all of this as this suit continues to move forward. The complaint was just filed yesterday. This is all remaining to be seen. So Sven is in Norway. Magnus, Play Magnus is a company, a limited liability company in Norway, like I said. Chess.com is in California. Chess.com's members reside in Utah and California. Denny Wrench is in Utah, and Hikaru is in Florida. Now, the court has jurisdiction. Again, we're not going to go over this. This is just the legal stuff. Why federal? So they're not even talking about. I said the United States District Court has venue because of the amount in controversy, over 75,000. However, I actually did not know this. Like I said, I didn't read this complaint prior to the Sherman Act. I don't have much familiarity with, so hopefully when we get to it, I'm going to be able to see a little bit more. It's just not something I do, but it's one of the named causes of action in this case, and that they're naming the Sherman Act. That's why the district court has venue under federal law. So federal law is at play, and upon information and belief, this court also has jurisdiction over this action because none of the defendants reside in Neiman's home state of Connecticut, and a substantial part of the events give rise to this claim occurred in this district. They could have also listed number 28, like I said, the amount in controversy. That's also a very easy one when people from different jurisdictions are filing claims against each other. Interstate compact and interstate commerce come into play, and if the amount in controversy is over 75,000, which 100 million, I think, is slightly bigger than 75,000 last I checked, then venue would be proper in the United States District Court. Now, the facts. The key players and their roles. FIDE and its oversight of professional chess. Since 1924, chess has been regulated by the International Chess Federation, a Swiss-based federation known by its French acronym FIDE, Fédération Internationale des Échecs. In its current form, FIDE is made up of national chess organizations in 200 countries and has been recognized by the International Olympic Committee as an official global sporting organization. As the official body overseeing professional chess, FIDE set the rules of international chess competitors, organizes, and sanctions the highest level professional chess tournaments, including the World Chess Championship, and certifies tournament arbiters, i.e. referees or umpires. In addition, one of FIDE's most important functions is to calculate professional chess players' official performance ratings. These official ratings are used for several purposes, including bestowing professional titles such as Grandmaster and determining which players qualify for professional tournaments. FIDE calculates these official performance ratings using an algorithm known as the ELO rating system. Only events that are officially sanctioned by FIDE affect players' official FIDE performance ratings. To qualify as an officially sanctioned FIDE event, a tournament, or match must adhere to strict parameters established by FIDE. Prior to 2021, FIDE only officially sanctioned matches and tournaments that were held in person, with participants playing their matches over the board, i.e., physically sitting across from each other and moving their chess pieces by hand. FIDE employs strict anti-cheating procedures, such as screening players for metal and electronic devices, broadcasting games and time delays, and tightly observing the players during their matches. Poor choice of words. Currently, the vast majority of official FIDE-sanctioned events are still conducted in person, with only a few select events taking place online. FIDE-sanctioned online events also employ strict anti-cheating protections to ensure that those online matches are played fairly. Neiman, however, has never participated in a FIDE-sanctioned event that was not over the board. The day-to-day operations of each of the FIDE-sanctioned tournaments are run by tournament organizers in conjunction with FIDE, the tournament organizers. As henceforth known. Tournament organizers are responsible for, among other things, I pressed the button. Tournament logistics, security, and anti-cheating or fair play measures. Chess.com and its economic dominance over the chess world. Outside of official chess events and tournaments sanctioned and regulated by FIDE, the authoritative body governing professional chess, there are a large variety of websites and online applications, including chess.com, on which people of any skill level, novices, enthusiasts, and professionals alike, can play recreational chess. Over the past 3 decades, these casual chess platforms have seen a meteoric rise in popularity, largely due to the ease with which they allow individuals of all skill levels to play recreational chess quickly and easily with others over the world. Through a series of acquisitions, chess.com has become by far the world's largest and most popular online chess company. Chess.com currently has more than 90 million members who play over 10 million online chess games on its website each day. This is more than 3 times the number of games hosted by the next largest chess website, Lichess, which is a free and open source website maintained by a nonprofit organization. To attract members to its platforms, chess.com solicits top chess professionals from all over the world to play recreational chess.com matches and create content on its platforms pursuant to streaming partner agreements. Players with streaming partner agreements, streaming partners, create content including articles, interviews, and streaming videos during which top players play chess topics of interest to chess fans. Chess.com employs many of the world's most famous competitive chess players, including Carlsen and Nakamura. Chess.com allows members to follow their favorite chess players for easier access to those players' games and content. Nakamura, for instance, has over 1 million followers on Chess.com, and Carlsen has over 64,000. That's actually quite a stark fucking difference, not gonna lie. I mean, Hikaru Nakamura with 1 million, and the reigning world chess champion with 64,000. That's kind of crazy. I think my light is a little too bright now. Let me dim that down a little bit. Okay, all right. I think that's a little bit better. Now, thank you. Call me Chris. While chess.com provides an online rating system for its members, that rating system is completely separate from and has no bearing whatsoever on a player's official FIDE performance rating. Rather, a player's chess.com rating is a private and unofficial tool that members can use to help identify and play other chess.com members with roughly the same skill level. Accordingly, a professional chess player's performance on chess.com has absolutely no effect on their professional rankings, qualifications for official FIDE sanctioned events, or official records and statistics. Moreover, while chess.com occasionally hosts tournaments and events on its online platform in which top-ranked professional chess players participate and compete for prize money, chess.com does not host any FIDE-sanctioned events on its platform. For the most part, professional chess players use chess.com merely to connect with fans, increase their visibility in the chess community, and gain followers to enhance their personal brands, or simply to have fun and play chess in a relaxed and unofficial atmosphere. For example, despite Carlsen's obsession with his FIDE ranking and unbeaten streaks, chess.com's own statistics reveal that he has lost at least 40 online chess games on chess.com in the past month alone. Even though chess.com has no official role in governing professional chess and does not host any FIDE sanctioned events on its platform, it is nevertheless a dominant force in the professional chess world by virtue of its enormous revenues and influence as the world's dominant online chess website. For example, chess.com is a major corporate sponsor for almost every important and prestigious professional chess tournament around the world, including FIDE sanctioned in person chess tournaments and events. Thus, despite being unable to rank players, govern official chess rules and regulations, or host FIDE sanctioned events on its platform, chess.com can exert its dominance to determine which players will succeed and which ones will fail by controlling who is and who is not invited to the events and tournaments it sponsors, and who can use its leading online chess.com platform. As the dominant source of chess-related news and events, access to chess.com also has a major influence on top chess players' image and public exposure. So basically, at this point in the complaint, as you all can see, the main driving force of all this language is to educate the judge that is going to be receiving this complaint, reading it, and trying to figure out what the hell's going on here, who's suing who, what for, and why. This is the background. This is the explanation. This is the meat, again, of who these parties are, how they're involved, why they should be paying, and we're going to get to those in a moment. Of course, the causes of action. Now, chess.com's chief chess officer, Wrench. Who's Wrench? Wrench is an international master, an IM level player, which is one level below Grandmaster. He's one of chess.com's top executives, holding the title Chief Chess Officer. Wrench is the public face of chess.com and a well-known figure in the chess world for his coverage and commentary for chess.com's flagship online events, as well as over-the-board tournaments sponsored by chess.com. Carlsen and his company, Play Magnus, formerly chess.com's main competitor. Practically synonymous with professional chess, Carlsen is a FIDE Grandmaster who has won every World Chess Championship since 2013. He has the single highest peak ELO rating in the history of chess of 2882. It's insane. It's an insane rating. Carlsen interacts with the public through his popular Twitter account at Magnus Carlsen, which has nearly 800,000 followers, and a highly visible streaming channel sponsored by chess.com. In 2014, Carlsen founded Play Magnus, which after chess.com has become the second most dominant commercial enterprise in chess. Over the years, Play Magnus expanded its reach in the chess world by acquiring other chess websites and chess content creators. In 2019, Play Magnus acquired the chess websites Chess24 and Chessable.com. Chess24.com is one of the most popular chess websites worldwide and hosts one of the two largest internet chess servers other than chess.com. Play Magnus expanded further by acquiring the US website iChess.net. In 2021, Play Magnus acquired the Dutch magazine New in Chess and the publisher Everyman Chess. As stated on its website, Carlsen, through Play Magnus, united some of the most exciting chess brands and platforms into one strong ecosystem to grow the sport of chess, quote unquote. Under his own personal brand, Play Magnus's explicitly stated mission is to, quote, define the future of chess, end quote. On July 19th, 2022, Carlsen announced that he would not defend his Chess World Championship title that he has held since 2013. So almost a decade. Instead, Carlsen would focus on two personal goals that he believed would solidify his stature as the greatest chess player of all time. One, breaking his own world record of unbeaten streak of 125 consecutive FIDE-sanctioned matches, which Hans Niemann so graciously dared to interfere with. And two, achieving an official FIDE performance rating of 2,900, which has never been accomplished in the history of chess. Again, something that Hans Niemann has so graciously interfered with. Chess.com streamer Hikaru Nakamura. Nakamura is a chess grandmaster who, at its peak, was ranked second in the world by FIDE, just below Magnus. Nakamura is by far Chess.com's most popular streaming partner, no question, with nearly 1 million followers on Chess.com. Nakamura also operates streaming channels on multiple other social media platforms. For example, in 2018, Nakamura began streaming on the Twitch platform under the channel name GM Hikaru. On February 14th, 2021, Nakamura reached a milestone of 1 million followers on his Twitch channel. Nakamura uses these channels to stream the chess matches he plays online. And by the way, the reason for the rise, by the way, a huge boost was given to the chess world during the pandemic. Some of you may not know this, but a lot of the streamers for the first time, kind of like the Johnny Depp trial, brought all the LawTube community together, although be it for a very brief moment. Um, it's kind of the same thing the pandemic did with chess streamers. Everybody was kind of stuck at home. Nobody knew what else to do with their life and their time, so everybody was playing chess on the internet, and a lot of streamers started doing this stuff together. Nakamura uses these channels to stream the chess matches he plays online and to offer Grandmaster chess players insight and commentary on current events in the world of competitive chess. Nakamura has publicly stated that he prioritizes his streaming career over his chess playing career because that probably generates him a whole lot more money. No question. Nakamura also operates a server called Naka's Pog University on Discord, a popular voice and text messaging social media platform, and has a Twitter account with over 430,000 followers. In addition, Nakamura has a YouTube channel with over 1.39 million subscribers as of October 2022. As Chess.com's most prolific online personality, Nakamura has a well-documented history of abusing his leverage with Chess.com to blacklist competitors, accuse players of cheating, and damage the careers of up-and-coming chess players. Whoa. That is big. This is the first time I'm hearing of something like this. Well-documented history of abusing his leverage to blacklist other competitors and accuse players of cheating. Wrongfully, rightfully, I don't know. There was definitely not a lot of talk about this. Maybe now with this complaint, a conversation will be opened. Who knows? Nakamura has also had, and by the way, for those of you wondering, I'm a measly 1550, 1600, blitz and bullet player. So I'm nowhere near the level of these guys. I'm just like barely an intermediate, like more of an amateur. Nakamura has also had the acrimonious relationship with Neiman for several years, dating back to when they both worked as streamers for Chess.com, and Nakamura viewed Neiman as a threat to his dominance on chess streaming platforms. Neiman and his meteoric rise from child prodigy to FIDE top 40 player. Neiman is an American chess prodigy. I like how that's like a paragraph in and of itself. I know, because he's the one who his lawyers drafted this complaint for him. But like, come on. Number 60, Neiman is an American chess prodigy. Period. Next paragraph. At the age of 11, he became the youngest player to win the Tuesday Night Marathon, a tournament held at the Mechanics Institute Chess Club, the oldest chess club in the United States. Now, this victory earned Neiman the title of U.S. Chess Federation Master. Now, at the age of 16, Neiman, who received no from his family, nobody else, by himself, by his bootstraps, he walked over to New York City after receiving a scholarship to attend a prestigious Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School, where his grammar was excellent and he was very preparatory for school. While in school, Neiman supported himself by teaching chess in other prestigious schools, including the Nightingale Bamford School and the Browning School, and participating in professional chess tournaments. I love it. At the age of 16, 17, FIDE granted Neiman the title of Grandmaster. Since then, Neiman, by playing a record number of games in 2021, has been steadily climbing FIDE's ranks by virtue of his decision to dedicate himself wholly and completely to playing in FIDE-sanctioned chess tournaments. Neiman rose in the rankings to 40th in the world with a FIDE performance rating of 2699. Damn, that 2700 club is looking mighty delicious, isn't it? He's literally 1 point away. Chess.com's merger with Play Magnus to monopolize chess. Now, here's the collusion. In August of 2022, shortly before Neiman's victory against Carlsen at the Sinquefield Cup, Play Magnus and Chess.com announced that Play Magnus accepted an offer to be acquired by Chess.com for approximately $83 million, with plans to merge the two companies and monopolize the chess world. The merger. The merger's announcement was personally made by Wrench and Carlsen in a split-screen video as depicted below. As you can see, it's Chess.com. This is Danny Wrench. This is Magnus Carlsen, World Chess Champion, Chess.com CCO. And there they are. When Chess.com and Play Magnus announced the merger on August 24th, 2022, they estimated that it would take approximately 6 to 8 weeks to finalize the transaction. Thus, at the time Neiman defeated Carlsen at the Sinquefield Cup, Carlsen and Chess.com were in the midst of negotiating terms for Carlsen's sale of the Play Magnus brand. So Magnus, it's starting to sound like, at least based on what I'm reading so far, they're painting it as the loss to Hans Niemann has cost Magnus potentially like millions of dollars in this deal, maybe a position on this. Like he couldn't lose. Was he in a no lose situation? Was he just absolutely certain that he wouldn't lose? He was so upset that he lost that the only way out was to allege cheating with like zero evidence and zero justification, which is, by the way, the absolute worst decision you could possibly make in a situation like that. I mean, that's obscene. That is completely obscene, right? That's how they're making it look. Upon announcing the merger, and I'm not taking sides here, I'm literally reporting on the facts. Upon announcing the merger, it was reported that, quote, with this, there is no other realistic chess competitor in sight, parentheses, apart from the open source and free lead chess platform. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, there's this other one. Not really a competitor. Just forget about it. Throw it in the garbage, right? Raising questions about monopolistic issues in the space and reasons behind Chess.com's recent price hike, end quote. Once completed, the merger will further solidify Chess.com's monopoly over the chess industry by, among other things, providing it total control over Chess24, one of the last few alternatives to Chess.com for online chess, and purchasing the Play Magnus brand, which has become virtually synonymous with chess. See, there it is. There it is. It's literally in these last few paragraphs, like 60 to 70, they have absolutely shown the David versus Goliath. I mean, there it is. You have chess.com, Magnus, Play Magnus, the Goliath, just like, just like stomping its way through the world. And little old Hans Niemann, barefoot with a little bowl going, please, sir, may I play some chess? And they're like, no, you have defeated the reigning world champion. You don't deserve this. Stomp, poo, poo, poo. It literally is what it's starting to look like. Neiman's surprise upset at the Sinquefield Cup. So between September 1st and 13th, 2022, Neiman competed in the Sinquefield Cup, an annual FIDE-sanctioned, invitation-only chess tournament in St. Louis, Missouri, with a total prize pool of $350,000. By the way, although he beat Magnus in that tournament, I believe he lost most of his games or matches. He lost most of his matches. He won some games, but the matches are like 5 games or whatever, and it's majority, I think. And he won like 1 or 2 here and there, but he lost like almost every single match. Like this victory was definitely an outlier under Magnus's skin. I don't know. But please don't take my word for it. Do your own research on that. I know there was a tournament where he exactly did that. I just don't remember if it was this one or some other tournament. The Sinquefield Cup is one leg of the Grand Chess Tour, a series of international chess tournaments featuring the top chess players in the world, with a total prize pool of $1.4 million. All of the matches in the Sinquefield Cup were held live and in person. In other words, over the board. Now, these words are going to become very, very important if they haven't already for you all. The third round of the Sinquefield Cup took place on September 4th, 2022, with Neiman facing Carlsen. By all accounts, Neiman was a massive underdog, particularly given that Carlsen was playing with the white pieces, which afforded Carlsen, as I told you, a distinct competitive advantage of making the first move in the game. About 0.2, 0.3, no more than. Yet, unlike the vast majority of Carlsen's opponents, Neiman was not intimidated by Carlsen's stature and did not play for a draw like most players would have done. Neiman played to win. He attacked Carlsen early and flipped the advantage to the black pieces, which rattled Carlsen for the remainder of the game. Unnerved by Niemann's unexpected confidence and early strategic advantage, Carlsen made numerous mistakes, upon which Neiman capitalized to secure a tremendous victory over Carlsen, which, by all accounts, should have propelled Niemann's career to the next level and allowed him to continue realizing his enormous potential as the next great American chess player. Now, unbeknownst to Neiman at the time, defendants would do whatever it took to ensure that this would never happen. Whew. Whew. Wow. Neiman not only beat Carlsen, Neiman embarrassed Carlsen by defeating him with the black pieces and playfully taunting him during and after the match. He also shattered Carlsen's historic 53-game unbeaten streak and made it practically impossible for Carlsen to ever achieve a 2,900 FIDE performance rating. That is not true. That was just one game. He can easily go back on his streak and still get all his FIDE rating back and then cross the 2,900 mark. That is not true at all. At least, unless I'm missing something. What is more, Neiman handed Carlsen this stunning upset while Carlsen was in the midst of negotiating and finalizing the merger to solidify Carlsen's chess empire around his Play Magnus brand. And I think this is the biggest takeaway so far. That it's not just Magnus taking a hit to his ego. It's Magnus taking a huge hit to his pocketbook. You just lost to an underdog, man. Like, you are obviously off your game. Who are you going to lose to next? Now his confidence is shattered. He's mentally crushed. Even though, by the way, the games that he has played since, not against Neiman, but other players, he has literally... It's impossible to describe in words because you have to watch the games. And even if you watch the games and you're not familiar with the game of chess, like, no offense, it's going to be confusing. And you're not going to see, like, unless like someone like me who has seen literally tens of thousands of games in his lifetime can see. Because you look at a game and you know like how it's supposed to go, but the viciousness, the utter unapologetic brutality that Carlsen started playing, like the brutal style he started playing in since this happened, is actually kind of mind-blowing. Carlsen is literally showing, he's like, all right, I've been having some fun up until now with you guys. Let me show you what I'm truly made of. And boy, oh boy, I'm not even joking. I'm being completely sincere. He did not disappoint. He has started playing, like, if up until this point he was playing like a hyena, he has now started playing like if a hyena was a Hulk. In a Hulk hyena, I don't know, a vulture on drugs. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. He just devours. He's no longer just beating. He's no longer just crushing. He's started devouring players alive, like in chess over the board. It is insane. It is absolutely insane. Watching his game since, it was literally like, who is this guy? Like, this is not Magnus. Magnus doesn't play like this. Who is this guy? And it is Magnus, and he's playing like this. He's trying to prove a point. He's trying to prove a point that he's angry, he's upset, and he's probably upset over this quote unquote alleged cheating. Carlsen responds by falsely and baselessly accusing. As a result of this shocking defeat, Carlsen snapped. Unable to accept the reality of his unexpected loss, Carlsen reflexively retaliated by defaming Neiman to Michael Khodorkovsky, the executive director of the Grand Chess Tour, falsely accusing Neiman of cheating during their game and demanding that Neiman be immediately disqualified. Carlsen knew that Neiman's sudden expulsion from a major professional chess tournament would send a clear, albeit false, message to the public that Neiman cheated. Because Carlsen had absolutely no evidence of Neiman's cheating, Khodorkovsky refused to comply with Carlsen's dictatorial command. Yet this did not stop Carlsen from disseminating his false and defamatory accusations that Neiman cheated. It merely forced him to be more creative. Carlsen rose to the challenge by first convincing Khodorkovsky to dramatically enhance the anti-cheating measures at the Sinquefield Cup, including by adding a military-grade metal detection scans and a 15-minute tape delay on all broadcasts of tournament games. Carlsen knew that the sudden, unnecessary, and unexplained implementation of these new anti-cheating measures would be interpreted by the chess community and the public to mean that the tournament operators had a legitimate basis to believe that one or more of its players had cheated. So basically what they're saying in this lawsuit is that this one man, right, that's at the top of the food chain in the chess community, has so much influence and began to exert his influence and exerted his influence to such a degree as to completely change the rules for security measures at these tournaments. I mean, that's pretty insane that one person can do that with his team, of course. Then at 2:00 p.m. on September 5th, 2020, the day after Neiman's shocking upset, Carlsen publicly announced on his Twitter page that he has withdrawn from the Sinquefield Cup. In that Twitter post, Carlsen linked to a video of soccer manager Jose Mourinho infamously reacting to a controversial referee decision by saying, "I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble." Carlsen's Twitter post is reproduced below. And there it is, September 5th, 2:00 in the afternoon. I've withdrawn from the tournament. I've always enjoyed playing at the St. Louis Chess Club and hope to be back in the future. And then there's that video. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. So I can't talk about it right now. Carlsen knew this was September 5th. Carlsen knew full well that withdrawing in the middle of a prestigious, high-profile professional chess tournament like the Sinquefield Cup is virtually unheard of for any top-level chess player, let alone the reigning chess world champion, widely considered to be the greatest chess player in history. By insisting that the Sinquefield Cup impose enhanced anti-cheating measures after his loss to Neiman, resigning from the tournament immediately thereafter, and then referencing a famous video of soccer coach refraining from publicly accusing referees of misconduct, Carlsen conveyed a clear and unmistakable message to the public that Neiman only beat Carlsen because Neiman cheated, as Carlsen intended. The chess world and the public at large received Carlsen's defamatory message loud and clear. And on September 6, 2022, WorldChess.com posted an article titled, "Did Hans Niemann Actually Cheat?" All the info so far, which stated yesterday, quote, "Yesterday, Magnus Carlsen withdrew from the Sinquefield Cup 2022 after his loss to Hans Niemann in round 3. Multiple tweets, streams, comments, and security checks later, the accusation of Neiman cheating is pretty obvious." It's an article. They want views. On September 7th, 2022, Slate posted an article titled, "The Chess World is Absolutely Losing It Over Cheating Allegations After Massive Upset," stating that Carlsen's implications rocked the chess community, which quickly began speculating online that Neiman must have cheated, despite no evidence of foul play being presented from Carlsen or event organizers. Also on September 7th, 2022, ABC News Australia released an article stating that Carlsen announced his withdrawal via a cryptic tweet on Tuesday morning, which was interpreted by many commentators, including leading American Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura, as alluding to foul play. On September 8th, chessbase.com posted an article stating in the last few days, so see, they're building the evidence. This is what they're doing. They're building the evidence of what this has done to Hans, who has talked about it. All these reputable, big, large companies, big chess websites, big chess, not even chess, just media outlets reporting this. This is public. This is out there. This is not just a few people kind of going, Hans, stop it, kind of thing. This is huge. In enormous upheaval after the world champion Magnus Carlsen withdrew from the Sinquefield Cup in protest after 3 rounds with an unspoken accusation of cheating of the player who defeated him, U.S. rising star Hans Niemann. On September 9th, the Guardian newspaper published an article noting that Carlsen's only explanation for why he withdrew from the Sinquefield Cup was, quote, a cryptic video clip of the football player manager Jose Mourinho saying, "If I speak right now, I'm in big trouble," during a press conference about referees. This was widely interpreted as raising suspicions of cheating. The article also noted Carlsen's games at the Sinquefield Cup will be rated, and the defeat by Neiman will cost him 7 rating points, a large setback in the context of trying to get from 2865 to 2900. His dream of a record rating has just become more distant. Also on September 9th, Vice News published an article explaining that the public, quote, took Carlsen's cryptic tweet to mean that the only reason why Neiman won was because he cheated, end quote. Carlsen enlisted his new business partner, Chess.com, and co-conspirator Nakamura to bolster his false accusation that Neiman cheated against him. So now we're bringing in the co-conspirators, right? So we talked about Carlsen, what he did. Now he's bringing in chess.com. He's bringing in Nakamura. Come on, you guys. I need your assistance on this. I can't do this alone. I need your help, right? After Carlsen succeeded in laying the groundwork against Neiman with his initial defamatory accusations of cheating, he unleashed the full force of his newly broadened media empire to publicly bolster these allegations and drown out any legitimate sources of opposition that demonstrated why Carlsen's allegations were untrue. Immediately after Carlsen announced his withdrawal from the Sinquefield Cup in a manner maliciously calculated to communicate to the world that Neiman had cheated during their match, Chess.com banned Neiman from its website, deleted Neiman's Slack account, and forbade Neiman from participating in any further Chess.com events. By design, this sudden ban and the precise time that Carlsen accused Neiman of cheating against him added instant credibility to Carlsen's false allegations and suggested that they were true. Otherwise, there would be no reason for Chess.com to suddenly ban Neiman immediately after he defeated Carlsen. To bolster his unprecedented joint ban, which effectively blacklisted Neiman from professional chess, Nakamura leveraged his platform as Chess.com's top streamer with over 1 million subscribers, remember, followers, and credibility. And by the way, he has like 1 million on chess.com and over 1 million on Twitch, right? Like 1 point, and YouTube. He's got millions all over the place. And credibility as a top chess player to engage in an all-out blitz of defamatory accusations to further confirm that Carlsen accused Neiman of cheating and to make it appear that those accusations are true. First, on September 5th, 2022, Nakamura stated numerous times during one of his widely viewed streaming videos that it was, quote-unquote, very obvious that Carlsen withdrew from the Sinquefield Cup because Neiman had cheated during their match. And here are some quotes. Number one, Magnus did not withdraw because he was pissed at losing the game. Let's put it that way. I mean, I've played with Magnus for the last 20 years. He did not withdraw because he lost the game. Two, I mean, it's pretty obvious why Magnus withdrew. It's very obvious why he withdrew. And that there's no doubt in my mind why he withdrew. No doubt. Zero doubt. I already said it. Magnus literally posted a video saying, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. Yeah, it's very clear what he's implying. There's no doubt in my mind. Three, we know why. We know why Magnus withdrew. There is zero doubt. There's zero doubt why he withdrew. And four, if they're on a 15-minute delay, that says it all. If they're on a 15-minute delay, then we know the reason why Magnus withdrew from the event. Plain and simple. That's all I need to say. They were not on a delay for the first 4 rounds. Yeah, it's that simple. Thank you, Joanna. Is chess big thing in the US as well? Not really. I know Norway's going crazy about it. My brother is a huge fan of Magnus. My nephew is named Magnus. That's pretty cool. Actually, did not know that. It's not that big. I'm just a nerd and I follow this. So to me, that's and yeah, I've watched his streams before, Tyler. So I'm trying to sound like him. That was very unintentional. Thanks very much, you guys. Apparently I do a good Nakamura impression. I'll take it. Second, as the formerly second highest ranked chess player in the world who touted his inside knowledge regarding chess.com, Nakamura knew that if he accused Neiman of cheating or stated that he believed Neiman cheated, the public would assume that those accusations and or opinions were based on his inside knowledge and expertise in chess and thus should be credited as true. To bolster that credibility, Nakamura made several false and defamatory statements suggesting that he had such special, further proving that Carlsen's accusation against Neiman were true. I've heard similar accusations from a lot of different chess players in regard to Neiman's over-the-board shots. I'm obviously not going to say names, but these people I know. These are people I know, people that I respect. Very prominent people in the chess community. I heard about this directly. This is two. I heard about this directly from someone in St. Louis, one of the players during the Rapid and Blitz, who said that they're basically certain that Hans has done something. And then Magnus withdraws from the tournament, so it's very, very strange. Neiman's explanation of how he beat Carlsen, this is number 3, is complete nonsense. It's just not possible because this is such an obscure line. There's no way you're looking at it to this degree. I'll just say this, number four, as someone who has played a lot of games. If you're super prepared and you look at something that morning, you blitz out the first 20 moves. If you looked at it that morning, you just blitz out all the moves. You don't pretend. You don't use 12 minutes. You use like 3 or 4 minutes on one specific move. That's how it works. This is weird. Number five, this analysis by Neiman is not 2700 level analysis. This is not 2700 level analysis. Like Alejandro's outplaying him as the interviewer. Alejandro's not even using the engine and he's outplaying him. During that same streaming video, Nakamura also republished a tweet from an account named Unsubstantiated Chess Rumors, falsely stating that top players know that Neiman had been banned twice on chess.com for cheating, which statement Nakamura falsely presented as fact, claiming this as a legitimate tweet. I know some of you in the comments are saying my mic cuts out. It's the connection here. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it cuts out like that, so I apologize. But periodically, you're going to miss like a couple of seconds, but the text is right there in front of you. So feel free to read along or listen along. During his stream the next day, on September 6, 2022, Nakamura continued to amplify Carlsen's allegations and reiterated that his own specialized knowledge proved that Carlsen's accusations were true. Hey, this is something that has been going on for a long time. I've heard from many different people. And when Magnus is a world champion, essentially, I think, is saying there's something weird going on. You start to look at it a bit differently. B, why would Magnus say this if there's literally no hard proof? Like I said, amongst grandmasters, this rumor's been around forever. I've heard it. I've summarily dismissed it many different times. But actual top players are saying stuff now. Nakamura's statements were false and defamatory, including because Neiman did not cheat against Carlsen in the September 4th, 2022 Sinquefield Cup match, and because Neiman had not previously been banned twice on chess.com for cheating. Yet, as Nakamura well knew, his reputation as one of the world's top chess players allowed him to hurl these false and completely unsubstantiated accusations against Neiman, and the public would regard them as fact. In response to Carlsen and Nakamura's accusations, Neiman gave an interview unequivocally denying that he had cheated in his... I think that he had not cheated. Is this a typo? In response to Carlsen and Nakamura's accusations, Neiman gave an interview unequivocally denying that he had cheated in his Sinquefield Cup match against Carlsen on September 4th or in any other FIDE-sanctioned event. Denying, I apologize. During that interview, Neiman, hoping to set the record straight, also responded to Nakamura's accusations of online cheating in recreational games by candidly admitting that when he was 12 and 16 years old, he had regrettably used a chess engine, a computer program designed to calculate the optimal chess moves in any given situation in a handful of non-FIDE-sanctioned recreational chess matches he played online on chess.com. Neiman expressed deep remorse for using a chess engine in these chess.com games, calling it the worst mistake of his life. Just days later, chess.com and Wrench piled on their false accusations regarding Neiman's online chess play on chess.com. These false accusations were specifically designed to depict Neiman as a serial cheater and thus reinforce Carlsen's accusations that Neiman cheated against him over the board at the FIDE-sanctioned Sinquefield Cup. Specifically, on September 8th, 2022, at 6:58 p.m., Wrench caused chess.com's Twitter account to post the following statement. Dear chess community, the last few days have been tumultuous for many of us in the chess community. At this time, we have reached out to Hans Niemann to explain our decision to privately remove him from chess.com in our events. We have shared detailed evidence with him concerning our decision, including information and the amount and seriousness of his cheating on chess.com. We have invited Hans to provide an explanation and response with the hope of finding a resolution where Hans can again participate on chess.com. We want nothing more than to see the best chess players in the world succeed in the greatest events. We will always act to protect the integrity of the game that we all love. Signed, Denny Wrench, Chief Chess Officer, chess.com. We have a couple of footnotes here. Chess.com and Wrench's above statement is false. Interesting. Neiman did not lie about the, quote, amount and seriousness of his cheating on chess.com, end quote. By the way, the asterisk to calling it the worst mistake of his life says, notwithstanding Neiman's remorse for experimenting with a chess engine. I like how they try to downplay it here, though, because, again, it's his complaint. They can't be like, well, yeah, I used an engine, blah, blah, blah. Notwithstanding Neiman's remorse for experimentation, I was just experimenting to see what would a chess engine be like. Oh my God, this is powerful. I am such a strong player all of a sudden, right? It's like, come on, experiment, just using a chess engine. They're downplaying it, experimenting with a chess engine. I love it. On chess.com as a child, it is important to reiterate that these are merely recreational games having nothing to do with Neiman's or anyone else's FIDE performance rating or global rank. As stated above, all of Neiman's FIDE matches, including his victory over Carlsen at the Sinquefield Cup, were in person, over the board, under tightly observed and secure conditions where he could not and did not cheat. Unless otherwise indicated, all emphasis herein is added. So this emphasis right here, this was added in the complaint. This was not in the original tweet. In addition, chess.com had not shared detailed evidence with Neiman that contradicts his statements regarding the amount and seriousness of his cheating on chess.com. These are more trumped up false allegations, specifically designed to further defame Neiman by accusing him of not only being a serial online cheater, but now also a liar. In fact, the very first public comment to this tweet was, "Ha, Hans is a liar." Okay, so some rando number 7 was, wrote that, and they threw it into the complaint. Okay, fine. So they're throwing in the public's opinion. I don't know. I think it takes away from the complaint, but that's just me. Chess.com's additional false accusations had the intended effect of further fanning the flames of Carlsen's initial defamatory accusation that Neiman cheated against him over the board at the Sinquefield Cup. For example, on September 9th, 2022, Ginks Esports TV wrote in an article that chess.com banned Neiman after finding evidence supporting the striking allegations by Carlsen and chess.com. They ban him for the striking allegations. Okay. Conspiracy theories began going viral. There it is. This is the anal beads portion of it. That Hans Niemann allegedly used anal beads as a mechanism for introducing computer engine play in over-the-board games, which I swear is like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Conspiracy theories began going viral on the internet, no longer concerned with whether Neiman actually cheated, but rather how he could have possibly cheated in an over-the-board game with strict anti-cheating protocols. These swirling, I love the choice of words here, swirling conspiracy theories were so outrageous that they garnered the attention of, among many others, Elon Musk. Remember, I shared the article with you at the very beginning, who spread them in posts on Twitter, and Stephen Colbert. I forgot about that one. He did. Who spread them on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Elon Musk has 107.8 million Twitter followers. And The Late Show with Stephen Colbert had 2.3 million viewers as of August 2022. Moreover, I love how they don't specifically mention anal beads. I absolutely think they should have. That would have been hilarious. But it's a legal document. They don't specifically want to name it like that. They're trying to be professional. But after all the other stuff they had written so far, honestly, I think posting that Elon Musk alleged Hans Niemann had something up his ass to be able to play better at a over-the-board game is not really all that far-fetched. But that's just me. Moreover, given that, even according to chess.com, Neiman had years earlier resolved chess engine during certain recreational online games, and Neiman had never done so again. Chess.com's sudden ban of Neiman from chess.com, purportedly based on cheating on chess.com, could not be a more obvious pretext for its collusion with Carlsen and Play Magnus to destroy Neiman's reputation, blacklist him from professional chess. Now, defendants then continued to defame Neiman after another match with Carlsen. On September 19th, 2022, after defendants' defamatory accusations had already been widely disseminated worldwide, Neiman and Carlsen were slated to play each other again at the Julius Baer Generation Cup. As the reigning chess champion, Carlsen could have seized upon his opportunity to redeem himself from his upset loss at the Sinquefield Cup. This is 2 weeks after they played in St. Louis. Or put this scandal to rest by admitting that he had no reason to believe that Neiman actually cheated against him. Instead, what did Carlsen do? Carlsen chose to pour more gasoline on the fire that he started by resigning from his match with Neiman after making one move, another unprecedented act for any top professional chess player. By doing so, Carlsen intentionally sent another clear message to the public that Carlsen stood by his prior accusation that Neiman had cheated against him at the Sinquefield Cup, and that the public onslaught he unleashed against Neiman was truthful, justified, and should continue. As the Daily News wrote on September 19th, 2022, Carlsen, quote, Carlsen, the world's best player for over a decade, abruptly quit an online match amid allegations that his opponent, American Grandmaster Hans Niemann, is a devious cheat, end quote. As the BBC noted on September 23rd, 2022, quote, any thoughts that the issue of cheating might be put to bed were quickly dashed when Carlsen resigned after making only one move, in apparent protest at Neimann's participation. In an interview on September 21st, 2022, Carlsen was asked about the meaning behind his abrupt resignation against Neiman in the Julius Baer Generation Cup. Carlsen laughed and declined to comment, but then boasted people can draw their own conclusions, and they certainly have. A not-so-subtle endorsement of the swirling accusations and conspiracy theories that defendants created by accusing Neiman of cheating against Carlsen and lying about cheating in the past. Meanwhile, Carlsen was privately disseminating his false cheating accusations to numerous members of the chess community, including chess commentator Lawrence Trent. Moreover, to further fuel his prior defamatory accusations, Carlsen maliciously added yet another accusation into the mix by sarcastically saying, quote, I have to say, I'm very impressed by Neimann's play, and I think his mentor, Maxime Dluggy, must be doing a great job, end quote. Maxime Dluggy is not Neimann's coach or mentor and has no involvement whatsoever with Neimann's training or preparation. Maxime Dluggy is a professional chess player who is rumored to have cheated in an online game or in online games on chess.com. Burn. Magnus? Whew. Accordingly, for those familiar with chess, falsely associating Neimann's play with Dluggy, is it Dluggy? I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, was a direct accusation that Maxime Dluggy somehow helped Neiman cheat against Carlsen at the Sinquefield Cup. The reporter, well aware of the message Carlsen was sending, noted to Carlsen, you mentioned a name there, I think maybe a trainer of Hans Niemann, that he's doing a good job, and asked if Carlsen could say some more about that. Is that because you think Dluggy is helping Hans in the games? Carlsen confirmed the accusation by laughing and stating that he hoped to say a little bit more after the tournament. However, Carlsen's purposeful suggestion was more than enough for Nakamura, who immediately took it to a streaming channel to fuel the next round of defamatory conspiracy theories against Neiman. On September 22nd, 2022, Nakamura played a recording of Carlsen's interview on his streaming channel, the one that we just that was quoted, and specifically highlighted Carlsen's accusation that Dluggy helped Neiman cheat against him. Nakamura stated that it's very clear why Magnus is name-dropping Dluggy. There's no doubt in anybody's mind. The reason he name-dropped is because Dluggy has been caught doing something wrong in tournaments on chess.com, end quote. Nakamura also made the false statement that, quote, as we know now, Hans Niemann did go to Max Dluggy's academy in New York City for a short while. That statement is false because Neiman did not go to Max Dluggy's academy in New York City, even for, quote, a short while. Man, back and forth. Dluggy? Is that what it is? Dluggy? Dluggy. All right. Thank you. I'll try to pronounce it properly from now on. Dluggy. Carlsen's explicitly accusing Neiman of cheating against him and confirming his intention to blacklist Neiman from professional chess. On September 26, 2022, Carlsen issued a statement on his Twitter account explicitly accusing Neiman of cheating against him at the Sinquefield Cup. Specifically, Carlsen's statement reads in pertinent part, I believe that Neiman has cheated more, and more recently. This is the famous statement that he finally made after 3 weeks since the first loss against Neiman. The first and only, I should say, at the Sinquefield Cup. His over-the-board progress has been unusual, and throughout our game at the Sinquefield Cup, I had the impression that he wasn't tense or even fully concentrating on the game in critical positions while outplaying me as black in a way I think only a handful of players can do. This game contributed to changing my perspective. I don't know. Again, part of me is like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you got outplayed and you're just being butthurt over it because you still have no proof that he cheated. I don't know. I don't know. It's so tough. It's so tough. Like if there was at least some evidence. Just because someone cheated in the past doesn't mean that they're cheating now, by the way. Um, as is evident, Carlsen's statement makes the factual accusation that Neiman has cheated more and more recently than he has publicly admitted, including during his match with Carlsen at the Sinquefield Cup. Moreover, to support this defamatory accusation, Carlsen represents that he possesses private and undisclosed facts, justifying his false factual assertion that Neiman cheated against him. Carlsen's September 26, 2022 statement goes on to make crystal clear his attempt to blacklist Neiman from future top-tier professional chess tournaments and events. We must do something about cheating, and for my part going forward, I don't want to play against people that have cheated repeatedly in the past because I don't know what they're capable of doing in the future. I don't know if it's easy to agree with that statement because especially remember the chess.com report where there has been a large handful of anonymous grandmasters that have come forward and said, oh yeah, I did it too. And we don't know who they are. And Magnus most definitely played them and most definitely will play them again. I don't know. There is more that I would like to say. Unfortunately, at this time, I'm limited in what I can say without explicit permission from Neiman to speak openly. So far, I have only been able to speak with my actions, and those actions have stated clearly that I am not willing to play chess with Neiman. By stating that Carlsen does not want to play against people who have cheated repeatedly in the past and that he's not willing to play chess against Neiman, A plus B equals C, Carlsen sent a clear message to the organizers and sponsors of all future chess tournaments and events that if they invite Neiman to those events, Carlsen, as the reigning world champion and number one ranked chess player in the world, will not participate, thus basically ousting him completely and saying that he's not going to be playing against Neiman ever again. By stating that at this time I'm limited in what I can say without explicit permission from Neiman to speak openly, Carlsen represented that he had additional evidence to support his defamatory accusations that Neiman cheated against him, but that Neiman is somehow prevented from disclosing it. Both of these statements are false. Let's keep going. Chess.com, Wrench, and Nakamura republished Carlsen's false accusation that Delugi is Neiman's mentor and helped him cheat. Shortly after Carlsen falsely suggested that Delugi is training Neiman and helping him cheat, and around the same time that Carlsen posted his September 26, 2022 statement, Chess.com and Wrench deliberately leaked years-old emails between Delugi and Wrench to Vice Media in an attempt to legitimize the narrative that Delugi was a cheater and that by association, so was Neiman. In those emails, Delugi explained to Wrench that while he was playing in an online tournament on chess.com in 2017, he allowed the students at his chess academy to view his screen and shout out suggestions for moves Delugi should play. Delugi stated that he later discovered that one of the students may have been suggesting moves that the student derived using a chess engine. On September 28, 2022, Vice published those emails as part of an article Grandmaster Maxime Delugi admitted to cheating on chess.com emails show with a byline stating Delugi, who is one of Hans Niemann's coaches and was recently name dropped by Magnus Carlsen, cheated in his own tournaments in 2017 and 2020, according to emails he exchanged with chess.com. That same day, Nakamura reacted to the Vice article during one of his video streams. During that streaming video, Nakamura reiterated his false accusation that Neiman was excuse me, not being completely clean about what's going on with respect to Neiman's past with cheating. Nakamura further stated that based on the Vice story, there was, quote, no way that chess.com is bluffing, end quote, in its defamatory September 8th, 2022 press release accusing Neiman of lying about the number of times he cheated on chess.com and claiming to have shared unidentified, quote, detailed evidence, unquote, of this with Neiman. In that same streaming video, Nakamura went on to state, quote, you know what the $1 million question is? Who is the student, end quote, who suggested chess moves to Delugi that came from a chess engine? Nakamura proceeded to clearly suggest that Neiman was that student. That's literally what was going through my mind when I was like, oh, there was a student who suggested, and it was in the university. Was that Neiman? I wonder if I was Neiman, right? It's like you're creating things out of thin air just because people are going to create their own conclusions. By God, I'm guilty of same as I'm reading this. I'm telling you. It's a very finely woven cloth of information, possibly some of it defamatory. Nakamura's statements were false because, as stated above, Neiman did not lie about the amount and seriousness of his use of a chess engine on chess.com, and because Neiman was not the student who purportedly used the chess engine in suggesting moves to Delugi during Delugi's game on chess.com in 2017. Numerous officials and experts confirmed that there is no, now this is big right here. This is big. Numerous officials and experts confirmed that there is no evidence that Neiman cheated against Carlsen or lied about his past online play. All right, this goes back to the report by chess.com, the 72-page report that they released that you all can read. It's on their website. You can access it very easily. It's literally called like the Neiman report. I think I showed you all earlier. It's from this month. It's from October of 2022. Like, you can't miss it. It's literally impossible to miss. People have tried to like go back, analyze, reanalyze, look at games that Hans Niemann has played in the past to see some sort of correlation between winning and cheating, or playing and cheating online over the board. There is no direct correlation. Nobody can flat out come out and say, look, right there, you see move 72 or move 36 or move 18, and that game was a chess engine. That's how difficult it is, because a chess engine and a human player, although can be very widely apart in full games, but when it comes to just that one move, because remember, like I said in the beginning, for a chess grandmaster, they don't need a chess engine for every single move of the game. That would be too easy for it to be detected. All they need is a chess engine for one move. One move. That's all they need. If they have the chess engine for that one move, they can crush it. And that's why it's so difficult, once again, to detect, right? Since early September 2022, numerous chess officials and cheat detection experts have thoroughly examined the facts and circumstances and repeatedly confirmed that there is absolutely no basis to believe that Neiman cheated in his match against Carlsen at the Sinquefield Cup, or that Neiman lied about his use of engine assistance in online games. For example, on September 10th, 2022, the Sinquefield Cup's chief arbiter, Chris Bird, issued a statement confirming that there was, quote, no indication that any player has been playing unfairly in the 2022 Sinquefield Cup. This includes all rounds played to date, end quote. So that was the official statement from the arbiter at the Sinquefield Cup 6 days after after Magnus Carlsen lost to Hans Niemann, with Hans with the black pieces. Around this time, Tony Rich, the executive director of the St. Louis Chess Club, which hosted the Sinquefield Cup, denied that there was any indication of cheating by any player during the tournament. On September 21st, 2022, Mr. Bird, the Sinquefield Cup chief to all the folks who contacted me looking for comments or interviews. As chief arbiter of the 2022 Sinquefield Cup, I would only say one player withdrew for personal reasons, and there's no indication that any player played unfairly in any of those games. End quote. That's huge. That is a huge and powerful statement. And that was 6 days or 5 days before Magnus Carlsen finally came out and said, I withdrew basically because Hans cheated. It was not for personal reasons. Separately, Kenneth Reagan, a professor at the University of Buffalo who developed the system used by FIDE to identify cheaters in chess games and who is widely regarded as the world's foremost expert on cheating in chess, including by Carlsen and Nakamura, publicly confirmed that there's absolutely no statistical evidence that Neiman cheated in his game against Carlsen or at any other time during the past 2+ years. Professor Reagan used his program to analyze games Neiman played in 106 separate events, together with online games and over-the-board games since January of 2020. Professor Reagan clearly and unambiguously stated that this analysis produced, quote, no evidence of cheating in over-the-board games at all, end quote. The same was true with respect to the specific Sinquefield Cup game between Neiman and Carlsen, where Professor Reagan stated, quote, I found nothing, end quote. Similarly, Caleb Wetherill, who runs the chess analytics website Pawnalyze, it's a great name, stated that, quote, it's not out of the ordinary for an upset in an individual game, especially like this, to happen, end quote. Because it is natural for junior chess players to get better over time and eventually beat their predecessors, end quote. Consistent with the findings of all these officials and experts, many unbiased top chess players have stated that after analyzing the Neiman-Carlsen match at the Sinquefield Cup in detail, Carlsen simply played particularly poorly against Neiman, making several obvious blunders that Neiman capitalized upon to win the match. Further confirming the lack of evidence that Neiman cheated, FIDE itself issued a statement on September 23rd, 2022, admonishing Carlsen's behavior and stating that it is prepared to investigate the situation when the adequate initial proof is provided. So no proof. To drown out legitimate sources clearing Neiman of Carlsen's defamatory accusations, Chess.com and Wrench published a defamatory report falsely accusing Neiman of cheating and lying about online cheating. On October 5th, there it is. There's the report that I shared with you all that we did not go over because it's 72 pages and it's extremely detailed. Neiman was scheduled to begin competing in the U.S. Chess Championship tournament, which, due to defendants' repeated defamatory accusations and blacklisting, is quite possibly one of the last competitive chess tournaments in which Neiman will ever be allowed to play. Neiman desperately hoped to be able to compete in that tournament, deliver an impressive performance, and lessen the blow of at least some of the defendants' defamatory accusations. Yet, once again, defendants had different plans. In an attempt to not only further destroy Neiman's reputation, but also distract Neiman to the maximum extent possible in the hopes of torpedoing his chances for victory at the U.S. Chess Championship tournament, Chess.com and Wrench ensured that on October 4th, 2022, the day of the tournament's opening ceremony, their defamatory accusations would once again dominate the headlines. First, at approximately 3:30 p.m. on October 4th, 2022, the Wall Street Journal published an article titled Chess Investigation Finds the U.S. Grandmaster Likely Cheated More Than 100 Times. Contrary to the legitimacy connoted by the article's inflammatory title, the investigation referenced therein was nothing more than a one-sided, self-serving, and defamatory hit piece produced entirely by Chess.com, which Chess.com maliciously leaked to the Wall Street Journal to fuel the spectacle of Carlsen's cheating allegations on the eve of Neiman's potentially final competitive tournament. Hours after the Wall Street Journal published its article and created a frenzy within the chess world and the media at large, chess.com published its website the defamatory report upon which the article was based. Like chess.com's defamatory statement, September 8th, 2022 press release, which was tactically made in conjunction with the board, chess.com's defamatory report falsely claimed that Neiman, quote, cheated more than he has publicly admitted to, including in many prize events, at least 25 streamed games, and 100 plus rated games on chess.com, as recently as when he was 17 years old. Chess.com and Wrench knew that defamatory report is false because, among other things, it accuses Neiman of cheating in games where he was streaming both his face and his computer screen visible to the public, while Wrench previously admitted to Neiman that he knew Neiman had never cheated in any games he played while streaming. The defamatory report also states that Neiman purportedly confessed to these so-called cheating offenses during a call with Wrench in 2020, which is also false. While chess.com was forced to admit in a defamatory report that there is no concrete evidence proving that Hans is cheating over the board, that over the board professional chess is not chess.com's domain of expertise, and that chess.com does not advocate for that conclusion, the defamatory report nevertheless provided 10 pages of slanted analysis to support the conclusion that Neiman did cheat over the board at FIDE's sanctioned events. For example, the defamatory report states, A, while we do not doubt that Hans is a talented player, we note that his results are statistically extraordinary. 2, Hans is consistently above many contemporaries and strength increases, even though he has only recently shown the same caliber of play. 3, Hans also had 2 rating plateaus that are uncharacteristic of the class of improving chess prodigies who become elite grandmasters. 4, Hans has had an uncharacteristically erratic growth period mired by consistent plateaus. 5, there are only, quote, 13 players currently ranked in the world's top 50 players who are younger than 25, and that Hans, quote, is the only player who became a grandmaster at 17, while the others all achieved titles between 12 and 16. 6, the conventional wisdom is that if you're not a grandmaster by 14, it is unlikely that you can reach the top levels of chess. So he's an anomaly. They're literally listing him as an anomaly. And because he's an anomaly, the only conclusion is that he must have cheated his way to glory. What? While that statement may seem discouraging, it has been borne out in modern chess history. Greats like Fischer, Kasparov, Carlsen, and almost all of the modern GMs who have been established as top 5 players were notable GMs by age 15 at the latest. So he got it at 17. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Really? This is their argument. Most players get it between 12 and 16, and he's a year late. He's an outlier on the spectrum. Therefore, he's fake. Okay, that is extreme. That is extreme. There are many remarkable signals and unusual patterns in Hans's path as a player. I don't know, man. I'm starting to really doubt the veracity of chess.com's report and the merit of this lawsuit the more I read on. But that's just me. Further, despite defensively disclaiming any collusion with its partner Carlsen, which is frankly incredible, and admitting that FIDE is responsible for professional, quote, over-the-board chess, the defamatory report dedicates another 2 pages to defending Carlsen's defamatory accusations, including by using Carlsen's own statements. For example, in the defamatory report, chess.com wrote, 1, falsely claims that Neiman's explanation of his preparation was not supported by records of Carlsen's prior games. 2, demeans Neiman's post-game analysis, claiming that this analysis and dependence on this engine seemed to be at odds with the level of preparation that Hans claimed was at play in the game and the level of analysis needed to defeat the world champ. Is this a joke? 3, Reports that Carlsen shared in a private conversation that his experience in playing Hans was unlike game he's ever had. Okay, and he emphasized that he has competed against numerous prodigies and players who exert themselves and show great effort throughout a long, difficult fight like this game. He described Hans's level of exertion as effortless and felt he never had a chance to get back in the game, which was extremely unusual. So he got into Magnus's head more than likely. And Magnus was like, what the hell is this? And he was off his game. I remember I said this in the beginning, and I'm going to say it again. It almost seemed he's playing like Mikhail Tal. Like, this is literally, he's showing all the characteristics of Mikhail Tal. If you don't know who Mikhail Tal is, after this video is over, do yourself a favor and read about him or watch some of his games. He plays like a madman. He will sacrifice pieces when it's actually to a disadvantage if you run it by an engine. And of course, he played games before engines were a thing, so it was a little bit different. He didn't play the game. He played the person. He wanted to intimidate you. He would like throw pieces at you. He would literally throw every piece at you. And you're like, well, you're giving me everything. This is amazing. And all of a sudden you're checkmated and you're like, wait a minute, how did this happen? So Hans is exhibiting similar characteristics. Thank you, mad scientist. I really appreciate that. And now in this effortless play, it's like Hans just kind of moving pieces around, and Magnus is like, what the hell's going on here? Like, this is not what I'm used to. Why are you like this? And he got into Magnus's head and he beat him fair and square as far as we're concerned so far. But the allegation is that he cheated. Okay. He described Hans's level, this is 3 again, as a level of exertion as effortless, and felt he never had a chance to get back in the game. Well, that's what happens when you're like down material and you're down in tempo and time and so on, all these chess principles, which was extremely unusual for Magnus, who is known for his resourcefulness. Number 4, he tried to bolster Carlsen's purported private conversation by claiming, this is what chess.com did, that Hans' lack of emotion or excitement about the result was also noted by several others. And by the way, if you watch interviews with Hans, that's like his normal demeanor, honestly. That's within his pattern. That's within his pattern. Okay, I just beat the world champion. And next feat. Let's beat him again, whatever. And linking to videos of reactions of notable players who have beaten Magnus. Who cares? Who cares how other people reacted? I think he has been showing the same pattern throughout. Like, honestly, I'm kind of surprised by these statements. This is just like, well, this has never happened before. This can't happen. Like, that's literally their argument. This has never happened before. This can't happen. This is unprecedented. This is an outlier. Therefore, something must be wrong. We don't know what it is, but it's wrong. But we have no evidence. We have no proof. We have nothing except conjecture, speculation, and wah. Number 5, chess.com claims that the game and the surrounding behaviors and explanations are bizarre. Okay. Highlighting the defamatory report is nothing more than a false and malicious hatchet job on Neiman, is that, as set forth above, its self-serving findings are directly refuted by exhaustive analysis from Professor Ken Reagan, the world's foremost expert on cheating in chess. In fact, after chess.com published the defamatory report, Professor Reagan directly discredited the false accusations made against Neiman in that document. That's big. Likewise, contrary to chess.com's self-serving contention that it merely wanted to ensure the integrity of the 2022 chess.com Global Championship Tournament, chess.com allowed several players who had previously been banned from online events for cheating in high-profile events to participate in that tournament. Notably, this, by the way, this portion of the defamatory report is taken virtually verbatim from Nakamura's statements while streaming a month earlier on September 5th that I've never seen Magnus just lose like that, like where it seemed like he had never had a chance in the game. Like, there are many games he lost, but games where he had no chance, it's very, very rare. In fact, Sebastian Feller, a European grandmaster who was caught cheating. Oh, this is the French guy, isn't it? I think this is the French guy I alluded to in the beginning of the video. In fact, Sebastian Feller, a European grandmaster who was caught cheating at the 2010 Chess Olympiad tournament and subsequently banned from participating in FIDE sanctioned events for nearly 3 years, is currently playing in the same tournament as Carlsen, 2022 European Club Cup. So remember when Carlsen's like, I'm never going to play a cheater again? Well, here we are with no objection whatsoever from chess.com or Carlsen. Surprise, right? If you're never going to do it, then what are you doing here? Likewise, Magnus against Parham Maksuldlu, who was also banned from leechess.org for cheating. Apparently, Carlsen only reserves his protests for those who have defeated him and threatened to undermine the financial value of Carlsen's brand and the merger. There it is. The financial interest is highlighted once again. Only hours after its release, Nakamura reacted to the Wall Street Journal article on his stream and endorsed chess.com's self-serving accusations as true by, among other things, stating that, quote, the fact that Neiman has cheated in these tournaments, Title Tuesday 1, 2, 3, I mean, to me, the Title Tuesdays are bad enough as it is, but then when you see that he cheated at the Pro Chess League as well, end quote, ellipses. Nakamura then tactically weaponized the defamatory report to further defendants' efforts to blacklist Neiman from professional chess, stating, quote, what happens with the U.S. Championship? Because honestly, I feel like there's a real chance that now that this has dropped, you could have top players in the event say they're not going to play against Hans, end quote. Forever Cuber says, in a way, I want to see this go to court because I'm curious what will be found during discovery. You know, I'm with you, brother. I am with you. Despite defendants' defamatory accusations have destroyed Neiman's life. Now, here it is. This is the culmination. This is what they've done. Despite the fact that Neiman did not cheat during his Sinquefield Cup match against Carlsen or use an engine during online recreational matches more frequently than he has acknowledged, defendants' coordinated campaign of defamation and misinformation has nevertheless already had the desired effect of destroying Neiman's reputation, career, and livelihood. On September 5th, 2022, the same day that Carlsen withdrew from the Sinquefield Cup, Chess.com banned Neiman from its website and all its future events, including the Chess.com Global Championship in October 2022, to which Neiman had previously earned an invitation. This was less than a week after Chess.com confirmed in writing as recently as August 31st that it was, quote, super excited to have Neiman in the event and looking forward to him competing. Yet the only thing that changed between August 31st and September 5th, 2022, was that Neiman defeated Carlsen in the Sinquefield Cup. The outlier. You had no right to beat the world champion. Neiman had also arranged, this is the allegation, Neiman had also arranged for a match against a fellow up-and-coming teenage grandmaster Vincent Keimer, who's also a very, very strong chess grandmaster, to be hosted in Germany. However, following the defendant's accusations, Keimer refused to play in this match, specifically based on defendants' defamatory accusations against Neiman. Prior to defendants' defamatory accusations, Neiman had also been in extensive negotiations with the Tata Steel Chess Tournament, which is one of the world's most prestigious tournaments and has Chess.com as one of its main sponsors to have Neiman compete. However, in the face of defendants' repeated false and defamatory accusations, the Tata Steel Chess Tournament has ceased all contact with Neiman. Carlsen's point-blank refusal to participate in any tournament that invites Neiman and Chess.com's outright banning of Neiman from any tournament associated with it have cut Neiman off from the vast majority of tournaments. In a typical year, okay, here we go. Now let's talk about the money. Remember I said in the very beginning, 100 million is a very, 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 very large number, okay? $100 million is an extremely large number. You have to justify why you're asking for it. And just because they have it, I want it, is not an argument. It's not going to cut it, honey. Okay? You have to justify. So let's see, and this is probably the beginning of it, I imagine. This is how they're going to be able to outline, they're going to try to show why Neiman is entitled to this 100 mil, right? And they're probably going to, this is going to involve some math. I don't know if they're going to go that deep, but let's find out. In a typical year, Neiman could expect to participate in approximately 15 major chess tournaments. Okay, somebody grab a calculator. I got it. 15 major chess tournaments, each of which would, one, generate approximately 5 to 15,000 in appearance fees for Neiman. So let's call it an average of 10, right? Let's just take the average. So 10,000. All right, that's 150 grand each year. Each year. Right? So 15 tournaments in 1 year, 5 to 15, that's 150,000. Now, two, potential cash prizes ranging between 5 to 100,000. So now let's say he wins every single one, hypothetically speaking, that would be 100,000 times also 15. So that's 1.5 million, right? That's 1,650,000. And if he does it for the next 50 years or 60 years, there it is. Literally what I said at the beginning of the stream. If he plays for the next 60 years. So that's if he wins every single major event for the next 60 years, he will earn $100 million. There's the math. And three, provide Neiman the opportunity. But don't forget also, this is not just compensatory damages. I imagine somewhere in here, they may, well, I don't know if they're going to go after punitives. Actually, I take it back. They may not go after punitive damages, but still, this is compensation for the damage to his reputation and ability to participate. This is the math that they did, right? Now, if he loses every single one and gets 5 grand, I mean, that's nowhere near 100 million, and we're slicing that by about a factor of 50, and he'll be making like 20 million in his career at best. And probably not even that, probably closer to 10. By being excluded, to provide Neiman the opportunity to play matches against highly rated competitors to increase his FIDE rating. That's, of course, like the biggest loss for him, right? Because chess is his passion, his career, his dream. That's where the real damages are. So it may not be the raw numbers, but it's like, how do you monetize that number? How do you monetize passion? That's the question. By being excluded from these tournaments, Neiman has lost any opportunity to obtain any appearance fees or cash prizes, as well as the ability to improve his FIDE rating. By banning Neiman from online chess platforms, which defendants monopolize, again, this is pretty big. Notice how they're reinforcing this David versus Goliath theme here. Neiman's streaming career has also been destroyed. So now all this cash that he could earn from streaming also gone. In fact, Neiman cannot even obtain employment as a chess teacher at a reputable school now that his reputation has been destroyed by defendants' lies. So those were the facts. Now let's see. Is that the real Igor Nemtsev in the chat right now, or is this a joke? This is a joke. Come on. But it's a good one. You definitely got me. No, holy shit. No, that's not you. No, that's not you. That would have been fucking cool though, if he was actually in the chat. I don't think it's him. No, there's a different he's got a different profile photo, but that's cute. That would have been awesome. The first cause of action. The first cause of action, slander against all defendants. So remember, slander is spoken defamation. Neiman reiterates, repeats, and realleges each and every allegation previously contained, blah, 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 standard legal language. Um, Defendants publish and repeatedly republish false and defamatory oral statements against Neiman of cheating during his match against Carlsen and in other unidentified competitive chess games and lying about cheating in the past, as set forth more fully above. Defendants' statements were false and set forth more fully above. Defendants made the defamatory statements with full knowledge that such statements were false or with reckless disregard. These are the elements of slander, or with reckless disregard as to whether such statements were false is set forth more fully above. Neiman's reputation has been and continues to be significantly damaged by defendants' misconduct, including by 1, losing his appearance fees for the Chess.com Global Championship, the Tata Steel Tournament, and future chess tournaments. 2, losing access to potential tournament prize funds at Chess.com Global Championship, the Tata Steel Chess Tournament, and future chess tournaments. 3, losing access to the vast majority of opportunities to increase his FIDE rating by playing matches against other top-rated players. 4, having his reputation in the competitive chess industry and the public from obtaining lucrative endorsement, sponsorship, business, and marketing opportunities. And 6, being forced to incur significant costs, expenses, and fees, including but not limited to attorney's fees, to try and remedy or mitigate the damage caused by defendants' misconduct. Accordingly, Neiman is entitled to monetary judgment against defendants in an amount to be determined at trial, but not less than $100,000, including compensatory, consequential. Oh, there it is, punitive. So he is going after punitive damages as well, which is nice. He absolutely should. Punitive damages are intended to punish wrongful conduct. Like, let's say if a jury were to find the conduct to be intentional, if it does go to a jury trial and doesn't settle out of court, which it might, you never know. This might be, I don't know. We'll see. Or it might get dismissed. Who knows? Anything is possible at this point. They're obviously, each defendant, by the way, is going to have to file their own separate motion for summary judgment, which basically asking the court to dismiss the case. And there's going to be a lot. Everybody has to hire an attorney now, a defense attorney, because nobody's going to be pursuing this on their own, not for $100 million, and they're all going to have to start paying for lawyers. So he filed suit in Missouri. I talked about it earlier. 808 fee. Sorry, you may have to scroll back. Thank you for trolling, by the way. And it's my ability to read Russian that has really killed me. Anyway, the second cause of action, libel, the written defamation. Same language. Defendants were false, made defamatory with reckless. Same language. Reputation has been, continues to be. His appearance. Losing his appearance fees for the Chess.com Global Championship. Okay, same language. Tournament prize funds, vast majority of opportunities, leaving a reputation. Being forced to incur significant costs, and accordingly, plaintiff is entitled to monetary judgment. So, causes of action 1 and 2 exactly the same. One's written, one's spoken. Now, the third cause of action, a violation of the Sherman Act. Does anybody know what that is? Because I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. Let's find out. Neiman repeats, reiterates, realleges every allegation contained in paragraphs at the same force and effect. Defendants acted in concert to improperly refuse to deal with Neiman, as described more fully above, including Chess.com banning Neiman from its platform and sponsored events, Carlsen refusing to play Neiman in any tournament or events, and the defendants acting collectively to cause organizers of professional chess tournaments to black. So this is kind of like collusion, conspiracy type act, a federal prohibition on such, and to blacklist Neiman from participating. Basically like a monopoly, acting to exclude you by force because they don't like you, kind of thing. It's possible. Is that what the Sherman Act is about? It sounds like it. I know I've heard about it before. I just can't remember in which context. The global competitive chess industry, including Chess.com and Play Magnus as global companies, affects trade or commerce. There it is. Among the several states, including internationally, by operating international chess tournaments with cash prizes with the United States. And so through international commerce, you're preventing Hans from earning money rightfully by wrongfully excluding him. Therefore, you're in violation of the Sherman Act. Okay, well, there it is. It's simple. Within the United States and in other countries, as well as operating within the United States, internet-based chess servers that are accessible worldwide. Defendants' concerted actions to ban and blacklist Neiman constitute an improper and unreasonable, there it is, restraint of trade, because those actions remove a top chess player from the national and international chess circuit. Moreover, because defendants' conduct had the effect of coercing other market actors to refuse to do business with Neiman, defendants' agreement to ban and blacklist Neiman is a per se improper restraint of trade. Defendant's conduct has caused and will continue to cause substantial monetary damage to Neiman by including, but not limited to, preventing Neiman from participating in chess tournaments that award appearance fees and monetary prizes, as well as preventing Neiman from obtaining lucrative endorsements, sponsorships, business and marketing opportunities, and otherwise making a living from his skill at playing chess. So, violating interstate commerce by wrongfully banning him and he can't make a living, you can't do that. You're therefore in violation of the Sherman Act. Accordingly, Neiman is entitled to a monetary judgment against defendants and the amount to be determined at trial, not less than $100,000, compensatory, consequential, punitive damages. Now, the fourth cause of action. Neiman repeats, reiterates, or alleges Neiman had contracts and or valid business expectations with chess.com. They basically hindered him from, this is on the state level. That one, the Sherman Act is the federal level, tortious interference is the state level. With the Chess.com Global Championship, Vincent Keimer and Tata Steel Chess Tournament, he had a right to do business, and now you deprive that of him, his ability to do that. As a fellow members of the competitive chess industry, defendants had actual knowledge of Neiman's contracts and or business expectations with the Chess.com Global Championship, Vincent Keimer and the Tata Steel Chess Tournament. Defendants intentionally interfered with Neiman's relationship with the Chess.com Global Championship, Vincent Keimer, and the Tata Steel Chess Tournament by defaming Neiman and improperly attempting to restrain trade by coercing them to terminate their relationship with Neiman and blacklist him from future competitive chess matches, as set forth more fully above. Defendants had no justification for their conduct because, as set forth above, they each knew that their conduct was motivated solely to cause specific harm to Neiman rather than protect any legitimate competitive interest. Neiman has suffered extensive damages as a result of defendants' conduct, including but not limited to the loss of 1. Appearance fees for the 2022 Chess.com Global Championship, the Tata Steel Chess Tournament and future chess tournaments. 2, access to, again, this is all repeating, right? We're not going to read that. So it's all the same stuff. Accordingly, Neiman is entitled to monetary damages in an amount to be determined at trial. Interestingly enough, they're not listing a number here, which I imagine was by design. I don't know. But here's the fifth one. Civil conspiracy. Now, I remember I said in the beginning, I think this one is going to be the toughest one to prove. Neiman repeats, reiterates that the defendants schemed and agreed amongst themselves to repeatedly defame Neiman to members of the chess community and the public at large in order to improperly cause the chess community to refuse to deal with Neiman, as described more fully above, including by unlawfully banning Neiman from Chess.com's platform and sponsored events and blacklisting Neiman from participating in professional chess tournaments. The reason I think that civil conspiracy is going to be the hardest to prove is although you can try and prove and may succeed in proving on each individual actor's actions, I mean, you would literally have, they're going to have to pull emails between Danny and Magnus, like Magnus and Nakamura and Danny, other employees at Play Magnus and employees at chess.com. I mean, this discovery process is going to be vast. Extremely, extremely vast. There's going to be so many documents that they're going to have to go through: email communication, contracts, incentives, motivators. Like, why did Magnus come out and say, but at the end of the day, to show that you behind the scenes, you know, Magnus, let's say Magnus Nakamura and Danny sat in a room and said, all right, you know what? Let's take this fucker down. You guys ready? We're gonna, essentially, right? That's basically what you're saying when you're alleging conspiracy. And that's not always an easy feat to prove. That's not always an easy feat to prove. Defendants took multiple overt acts in furtherance of their scheme and agreement, including by making repeated false and defamatory statements accusing Neiman of having cheated during his match against Carlsen on September 4th, 2022, unlawfully banning Neiman from chess.com's platform and sponsored events and interfering with his professional relationships, as described more fully above. And again, I'm not disagreeing that they individually acted, but scheme and agreement, I don't know. That's extremely hard to prove. And again, suffered extensive damages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which we already covered. They're just repeating that in each cause of action, which is standard stuff. Here, they're repeating the number once again. I don't know why they didn't repeat it. Maybe they left it out on accident. I don't know. That's up to the lawyers and the drafters. And finally, wherefore, Neiman hereby requests that the court grant the following relief. And essentially, they all say the same thing. And actually, as you can see, number 4, I don't know why I'm pointing at my screen because you can't see my finger. You can see my mouse cursor, though. They don't name a specific amount. They're saying, as to the 4th cause of action, which one was that? That was not the Sherman Act. That was the tortious interference. That one, they didn't name a number. Why? I guess the lawyers decided to keep that open. I don't know. I would have included a number. And some people have said, well, is he asking for 400,000? Is he asking for more? Like, what exactly is this? No, he is asking for $100,000. This is just on each cause of action individually and collectively. This is called joint and several liability is the legal term. Joint and several liability. So each defendant is jointly and severally liable for each cause of action, jointly and severally, basically. So on the first one, 100 mil, second one, third one, fourth one to be determined at trial, fifth one, plus prejudgment interest in favor of Neiman. An award of Neiman's cost, expenses, and reasonable attorney's fees incurred in connection with this action, and any other further relief as the court deems just and proper. This was filed in New York, City of New York, State of New York, yesterday, October 20th, 2022. These are the lawyers. Remember I said Ovid & Ovid is the main firm that he hired because he's from Connecticut. I think he's living in New York. I think he's competing there right now. Is that where the U.S. Championship being held right now? I'm not sure. So maybe he just it's convenient for him and he found these lawyers. Pro hack application forthcoming. Like I said, they're applying to Pro hack vici, as the Latin says, basically asking Missouri, look, we're going to practice. We're asking to practice in your case just for this one case. If you don't mind, they pay the fee and they all are licensed to practice law in Missouri for that one case of Neiman versus Magnus et al. Terrence Ovid, Darren Ovid, Andrew Ergenson, James Riley, all attorneys with Ovid & Ovid in New York. And of course, they hired local counsel, not hired, but are partnering up with Matthew Gardner, Esquire, with the Gardner law firm from Missouri, because that's where the action is. And they need someone who knows the local rules and can help them move this thing along. That's 44 pages worth of information right there. Well, there you have it, folks. This is nuts. This is absolutely unprecedented. For the world champion to what initially nobody knew truly what was going on. Nobody knew, is he just throwing a tantrum? Does he have evidence? You know, on September 5th at the Tata Steel, or September 4th at the Tata Steel Tata Steel tournament in St. Louis, nobody knew. Nobody knew what the heck was going on. Nobody actually moved forward. to take the spotlight and say this is what happened, i.e., Magnus Carlsen. And when Magnus finally 3 weeks later had spoken, in between, chess.com is already like, they didn't make a statement, but they already kind of made these allegations. Um, Hans Niemann himself came out a few days after and admitted that yes, he did cheat in the past, but not here, never over the board, etc. And then chess.com releases this report. We're seeing now from this complaint, if you all, those of you who have been here throughout, you can see that there is an underlying saga of this merger between two giants. Number one and number two in the world are becoming number one in the world when it comes to providing chess content. And of course, I'm talking about Play Magnus, which is the parent company of Magnus Carlsen, and chess.com. And now they've already absorbed like Chess 24, and they've absorbed, it's like AT&T absorbing like all these companies back in the 80s before they had to be broken up because they became a monopoly. So now chess.com owns Chess 24, and they own Play Magnus, and they're going to own this and they're going to own that. And they only have like one competitor, Lichess, which is going to pale in comparison and possibly even eventually get bought out by chess.com to have an entire monopoly. But Hans Niemann became a clog in the machine, or it was a cog in the machine, excuse me. He clogged the machine. He became a wrench, no pun intended, to Danny Wrench. He became a wrench in the gears as they were turning. Magnus Carlsen was making this agreement with chess.com to basically create this giant conglomerate of a company that is going to basically be running the chess world as we know it. And he loses to an outlier, an outsider, a black swan, an ugly duckling, an anti-hero who came along out of the blue and said, you know what? I'm just going to beat you and kill your dreams for a moment. And instead of going, all right, wow, that was insane, I need to be on top of my game, he does throw a tantrum. He goes, this is not possible. This is not humanly possible. This is not physically possible. Only a computer could have done this, essentially. And accuses him of cheating. Because what is cheating? Cheating is using a computer. You are using assistance, Hans. I can't prove it. I have no evidence. And now he's enlisting the help of chess.com, allegedly. And chess.com goes to bat for Magnus. I mean, this is pretty huge. This is pretty huge. I don't know if it's going to go to trial. Somebody asked it. I don't know if it's going to go to trial. I hope it does. Although I read a comment, I think on one of Gotham's videos, somebody said everybody on that jury panel is going to walk out 1,800 FIDE rating and above just from listening to the evidence, which I think is kind of funny because 1,800 is actually a really, really difficult score to obtain. It's a very, very high up there. But yeah, no, it's not 400 mil. It's 100 mil. It's 100 mil. And that's a lot of money, but it's justified in the either give him redemption and like you defamed him, pay him a little bit of money, recant all your statements, or show up with real proof. I mean, that's the problem. Nobody has real proof. Everybody has speculations, statistical anomalies. And just because you're a statistical anomaly does not mean you're a cheater. That's the problem. Everybody keeps saying like, oh, he cheated, but nobody has the proof. And people want proof. People do not like speculations, especially when you're alleging a top 40 Grandmaster cheated over the board. And with anal beads, shoving something up your ass just to be able to beat the reigning world champion? Come on. I mean, I think Elon Musk just jumped on it because he thought it was funny. Musk is like the king of memes at this point. But for him to like honestly, truly, sincerely believe it, I don't think he does. So I wanted to go over that because, like I said in the beginning, chess is my passion. I love it. I know more about this than I would like to admit. I've been following this saga literally since the beginning. I think I was in California when this all happened. I was there for the Kristen Smart murder trial. I remember I was sitting and I was like watching all this unfold, and I'm like, Magnus quit? What? He got beaten and he quit? Like, what a move, you know? And I was very confused because nobody knew facts. This is before Hans made the statement. This was early September because Hans made the statement at the end of September. So, anyway, I really wanted to thank you all for joining me. This was absolutely phenomenal. Look at that. We were almost going on 3 hours and it flew by. I didn't even notice. I had so much fun reading the complaint. We should definitely do this again. I'm probably going to be reading the Amber Heard Johnny Depp briefs when they come out. I think today I've proven to myself. I remember I was like, I don't know if I'm on the fence whether or not I'm actually going to do it when the briefs are written. I'm absolutely going to fucking do it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you all for joining me. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you all at the Johnny Depp show tomorrow with Jeff Beck. Bye bye.